Question where the president. So it's about video. Let me find the question where I left off. You see.
We have scheduled Iran talks, and they want to talk. They took a big drum.
Trying to find out where I left off. Because this is the White House
three
one.
sites, really. I would say the three sites, not just the one. The one was a big one, and it was deep in granite, and it was obliterated. It turned out the Atomic Energy Commission said it.
I remember I stopped at 10 minutes for the other.
I just want to take hats off to those incredible flyers, the people that flew that big machine, and frankly, the mechanics and everybody else.
It's July 8th for me now, so I'm trying to figure out where to stop.
Zero problem.
So you don't hear me for 2 moments in time. So.
The biggest bombs ever. The biggest bombs that we've ever dropped on anybody.
Yeah.
Non-nuclear.
Because I stopped in the other.
Non-nuclear.
Let me see if I can.
But they did it.
So
is there a plan? Has there been any progress in finding countries?
Maybe why don't I let you answer that question?
so people, that's it. I got it.
Anybody, what do you think? Non-nuclear. We want to keep it non-nuclear, by the way. But they did a phenomenal job. It was an amazing job, and I think that was, I was talking to Bibi about. Mr. Prime Minister's.
It's so weird because.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor to have.
I think President Trump had a brilliant vision.
Okay, so PB starts talking, so once again.
Look. The Jewish people.
Oh my God, okay. I understand now. Uh-oh.
Around the world for your leadership. The leadership of the free world. The leadership of the just cause.
Okay. I understand now. I mean, the White House basically starts exactly where I left off from
Now especially
the Forbes Live, and then I watched. I mean, oh my gosh.
Extraordinary team. And I think our team.
Well, that is actually good timing though. But
an extraordinary combination. To reach
but I
out
went
to
10 minutes into the White House one,
But
so
the president has already realized great opportunities.
so I'm only on July 8th, Tuesday, 2025. I should have waited until the official White House one instead of looking at the Forbes one and
So
PBS
I
News
want to
one.
present to you, Mr. President, the letter
Trying to remember the exact moment I left off.
it's not
Whoopsie daisy.
which is welcome to engineer.
I'm gonna find out where, because that way you don't hear me from 2 moments in time, you know. If anything, I wanted to,
Thank you very much.
because there's BB and his president. So if anything happens with Iran or Gaza, I mean, this is really the perfect moment to break both of them. And I'm gonna try to find out
Thank you
where
very much, everybody.
where I can pause with the White House version. Then
Well, we're gonna just make it as comfortable as possible for the state of
Struggle forward
Texas.
and
They're a
looking-
great governor. They have wonderful senators.
Is it
They
if
have
you-
wonderful representatives, and we're gonna work together with them. And we
I
have
see.
been working really very hard. This whole table has been working. It was a terrible event. Terrible event. You saw
that makes a
when
lot of
we
sense,
were-
you know.
Texas was just absolutely so badly
So
hurt.
let me
Something
see
was
if I can go to
a
the.
big surprise late in the evening. So we'll be working with the governor and all of the people of Texas. And
Do you think there would be a two-state solution?
I don't know. I'd ask Bibi that question. You have the greatest man in the world to answer that age-old question. Tuesday.
On the table, is there a plan, and have there been any progress in finding countries?
But essentially, that's the way it is right now. Yeah.
Mr. President, is your Palestinian relocation plan still on the table? Is there a plan?
There we go, got it.
Any progress in finding countries?
This is so confusing for me. Fine.
Wendy's got to answer.
I think President Trump had.
Yeah, I'm gonna hear BB answer this
It's called
question and then
free choice.
stuff about.
No, people.
That is literally what he said in the article. So
But if they want to leave, they should be able to leave.
that is literally what you said in the article. So
Prison should be an open place.
that's covered in the
Give
article.
people
So
free choice.
I should stop at about
We're working with the
12
United
minutes in
States,
this one
very closely.
in the White House
Finding
version, and it should be
countries
okay. So.
that will seek to realize what they always say, that they want to give the Palestinians a better future. And
Yeah,
those who,
listen to this part.
And I think we're getting close.
Yeah, y'all. Once the cameras stuff going, y'all need to decide what you actually want, and then let Andrew know, and then we need to manifest the past, present, and future, basically. And you already
We've
heard
had great
some sort of past that I sent backwards. But I think both Israel and the United States understand that whatever past I sent forward is based on decisions you all make in the future. So you basically and it's absolutely difficult to manifest your own past, especially if the past is different than what you want, you know.
Well, I hope so. Look, we did a job with India and Pakistan,
Yeah.
Serbia, Kosovo.
I mean, exactly, right? I mean, basically the president posts a True Social thing ordering me to get peace, and then you hear peace in the past. And I didn't know, right? So basically,
Ready to fight.
I mean, it's like a miracle, basically. I mean, God only knows what you would have remembered otherwise if you didn't
India and Pakistan.
order it, basically.
And we stopped that over trade. We're dealing with.
And I think this is, I mean, I mentioned it before, this is why you're president, because you know how to force a pass,
And they were
basically.
maybe at a nuclear stage.
Just tell me, okay, order Andrew to give you a peace deal, and I create the causality in the backwards in time to give you that peace. So,
Monster, this whole thing that's happening with
you know,
Russia.
Alexis and Ellie could not do it.
Horrible thing, and I'm not
Control
happy
your
with
own
President
past,
Putin
basically.
at all.
Even Andrew has
But,
difficulty doing it.
This is
So,
something that would have never
President
happened.
Trump is
This is
this is why President Trump is president.
Go ahead.
So anyway, so 12 minutes. Yeah, I haven't heard this part. It's still July 8th, so I'm gonna. I know it's because multiple videos.
I'm stopping wars.
Yeah, impressive.
I see people killed. Like, as
I
an
know.
example, Ukraine and Russia, they're not Americans being killed.
But it's still
They're
human
not
lives, yeah.
Being killed.
Still
These are
human
all
lives, yeah.
Russians and all Ukrainians and
People could have grown
but
old
it's
together.
5,000, maybe 7,000 last
People
week,
could have been friends and grown old
7,500
together.
last
And
week.
then
Most
I
of these
remember somebody
soldiers-
telling me
but people
it's
in the
cousins
thousands
killing
and
cousins. They
thousands
could have been friends.
Mostly
Ukrainians were
death is
friends.
mostly soldiers now. So they don't come from here, but it's 7,000 last week souls.
Yeah, so
I can stop that. You know, they have parents and they have sisters and brothers. And,
it's still worth trying.
getting married. And who
Grow,
knows?
you know,
They're just
who knows,
people
right?
with their souls. You know, I can stop a war. You know, because
It's a
I-
beautiful
I'm
moment in
just-
world
I'm
history, so.
disappointed, frankly, that President Putin hasn't stopped. I'm not
So I
happy
started
about
about
it.
10, top 12.
We have scheduled Iran talks.
There we go, I
and
saw
they
that.
wanna- and we had
So it's
a,
about 12:04
we had a rough
in
time.
the White House.
Sometimes,
So
you know, sometimes you need the rough time in order
as
to
soon
get-
as soon as you finish talking, I'm gonna pause
things are
it
gonna
and
be really settled
then
down
I'll remember
around
exactly
the
where.
US. And,
But
they
there are
respect
multiple
us,
versions
they
of this,
respect
you know.
Israel, they respect
Still July
a lot of
8th,
things that took
2025.
place.
So
Nobody's ever seen.
then you have a cabinet meeting today and Tuesday, and make that cabinet meeting as long as you want. And
When those sites were knocked
I'm trying to be
down,
careful because there are
essentially,
press
that
in there.
was
But
the
okay, there we go. Quick. And that's the one that I'll pause because BB will answer.
You have the greatest man in
Yeah,
the world to
and
answer
then
that
now I can remember because he's gonna answer and then
Tuesday.
there you go. There you go. Pause. There you go. Pause right now. Sorry. Pause right now.
They should have all the power.
Yeah. Associated Press, I think. It's July 8th, Tuesday, 10:27 a.m. There's nothing. I mean, there's no. I mean, y'all wanna? Oh wait. No, there's. It's just you all shaking. So, I can't really tell you much. Have a great day, right? Have a great day. Cause well, I mean, seriously, like I just paused the video with the. Wait, what are you talking?
That will go in, speak for a while, then come back.
Yeah. You if you wanna, I mean, that's the thing. You basically have to have no press. If anything classified, you know, I tell a lot of classified stuff in public. So, anyway, have a great day. Where's the
Speaker,
where's the
Speaker
podium?
just agreed that we'll go in, speak for a while, then come back and try to say a few things to you, okay?
Press
Maybe
conference.
answer some of your questions.
Yeah, I mean, because there's something, but I don't. It's in the preview, but I don't see it in the video in the past yet. So what the? How did they do that? Oh my god. Oh, I know how they did it. It's from this one. Okay. Ah. I haven't seen this one. Holy crap. Deliver remarks. BB's Secret Justice. I know how they did it. They used the preview from this video to make the preview for the other one. It's July 8th, 2025, and I was wondering why there was a preview of the press conference and it hasn't happened yet. They used this photo, I think, to
Prime Minister and I have developed a strong bond
to preview the other video, so it hasn't happened yet. The press, so
the first piece of legislation I passed after taking the gavel was a
I definitely have not seen this, so
the U.S.'s commitment to the security
yeah.
of Israel. That was a
So
very important gesture on our
it's
part.
February 7th.
Of course, I was happy to pass the Security Assistance Fund.
Yeah.
in Israel.
So I won't mention about what's going to happen in June, but we're
When I
okay.
speak regularly. We were.
You
we were
can speak
honored,
Johnson. You can tell.
to host my friend.
tell
Prime Minister
BB
in July
absolutely
for his
fine.
historic
Sort of.
fourth joint address to
I
Congress,
mean,
which
casual numbers are not
I'll
that
type for the
high
record
in
of all
Israel,
time. And that showed
Yeah.
the world that Israel is not
but it's
alone.
let me see how many percentage is successful.
We are.
If I remember correctly,
Today we
500
discussed the
ballistic
Central
missiles,
Partnership
42 waves, and about most of them landed in open areas, so they did not have to be intercepted. But 200 interceptors. So let me see how percentage interception. I'm gonna tell you percentage interception. 4. Well, I think I'll watch the whole thing because
testament to what can be
and tell
accomplished
BB
when
exactly
you
how.
let the enemy set the rules.
Yeah.
As Prime Minister Netanyahu said Tuesday at the White House, when our
36
enemies
missile
see daylight
impacts.
between Israel and
They
the
could
United
not
States,
intercept them,
they
so
will exploit it. We all know that is true.
they
And that's why strong, decisive leadership is so crucial. In this
258 ballistic missiles
President Trump
successfully
and Prime Minister
intercepting
Netanyahu
222
both
of them.
understand
So
that peace is
the remaining
security,
272
strength,
missiles will
not
likely
easy.
have to fall in open areas without
Not by
interceptor
turning our
attempts.
backs
So
on our allies.
don't waste them. I mean, because they're
Before
not going to
he
hit
took
anything. So
office in
anyway,
January, President Trump and his team
Yeah.
helped secure the ceasefire agreement and return
Israel's Arrow 300 systems as well as NATO
Israeli
THAAD
hostages.
system. So
This week, he
oh,
announced
by the
that
way,
Israel
if I
has
didn't,
pressure on
I mean,
Iran
I
and
told
its
the
proxies
Secretary of Defense
to
already.
terrorize the Israeli people and the world.
They need an extra
This
THAAD
is
system
what
at least. So
decisive leadership
they sent
looks
them.
like.
So they actually sent them.
With
It's quietly
President
sent
Trump
them.
back in the
So
White House and Republican
they have at least
control
2.
of Congress,
So
America will
double
not turn
check.
its back. On our national security
We're
priority.
gonna watch it. Watch the
Our
whole thing. I
support
think.
for Israel remains ironclad. And we are truly
I am
grateful to Prime Minister Netanyahu
5
for
months
joining
and
us
1 day in the
today.
future, basically.
And I'll turn it over to him. for
July
a few
8th.
remarks.
I mean, maybe you need to know how many people. Oh, 36 missiles hit. So it represents 14 missiles got through. So 86 interception rate. 258 missiles successfely fired at actual targets that would hit. I think 222 of them intercepted. So 272 missiles fell on open area. 272 missiles. I'm gonna ask exactly how many people are gonna die in Israel. So you have a heads up. I'm gonna search it. I can count, but I'm gonna search it for. This is Grok, by the way. So if Elon Musk gave you the wrong answer, don't. I won't search how many
The
people died
American
exactly.
Israeli
So.
alliance has never
How many? Yeah. I have an answer from the Times of Israel. I don't know if that's actually accurate, so I will ask Grok double check so let you know how many casualties. So, what the hell? But take it with a grain of salt because it's from Grok, Elon's Grok, you know. 28, possibly 29 people total killed in Israel, 3,238 injured. So you're gonna need some hospitals and stuff. So. Minor injuries, shrapnel, possibly, you know, hopefully.
And for the broader Middle East in the Southern Front War.
Yeah.
Immediately released those weapons. He issued yesterday.
Yeah. So it's July 8, 2025, Tuesday, 10:39 and 58, 51, 32, 50 a.m. Pacific. So you do. I mean, I couldn't find some.
Just in 2 weeks. But I was.
Talk to President Trump and then. Sorry. You have at least one more thought.
The substantive
and
things
there
that
are
discussed,
destroyers
sure Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. And also
helping you intercept
sure
Standard Missile 3, sea-based.
Hamas is destroyed.
So.
Can have a few
Times of Israel and Jerusalem Post, you do have another thought coming, at least two. So I would,
we agreed
I
on
mean,
many things.
as
but I
many
think
as we
it
can
sets the
spare,
tone
right? So,
for this
so that's
great,
total battery. Let me see
strengthening
1
of the
second.
Amer-
Yeah, 6 trucks with 8 missiles each. That's 48 missiles. So you have 2 batteries. That means 96 ton missiles for you to intercept. So
Mr. Speaker,
yeah, they'll supplement the
state of Israel.
Arrow 3 and Arrow 2. You might need to talk to Speaker Johnson for the big beautiful bill. Add a little bit more Arrow 3 and Arrow 2 missile. I mean, I don't know if it's issued in the bill, so quietly, right? Quietly, yeah. The Arrow 3 and Arrow 2 needs to be replenished.
I
So
think, Mr. Speaker, that's the spirit.
I think that's why you're meeting the president today. I mean, yeah, as quietly as possible. I mean, anytime, Speaker Johnson. Seriously, I don't know if it's in the big beautiful. The big beautiful passes, by the way, and signed into law on July 4th of July. But Israel needs a little bit more missile systems because he used all of them basically. All right, see you around. Maybe after you meet and you have another press conference in the future. Right? So this maybe not. I don't know. See you around July 8th for me. So, July 8th, 2024. Whoopsie. Speaker Johnson is July 8th, 2025. I just saw the press conference with you and BB. I figured out why there was a podium preview because it's the old one. They took the old one and they stuck it on the. So you haven't had the press conference yet, so you may or may not have one, right? Because they said
in
it.
terms
So.
of this threat to
Anyway.
to go after Republicans that vote for the
Anyway,
bill, you worried about that? Musk does have a lot of money. If he
Oh my
starts
God, Musk is
getting
a
involved
President.
in
Elon might be. I don't know if he's actually gone crazy or.
Elon knows at the end of the day the reason he got involved.
Or
to
he's-
help
I'm just
President
saying-
Trump win and to help Republicans.
Yeah, he did. But
Majority in the
he
House and the
formed a
Senate.
new
So he
party.
understands that our policies are better for human flourishing. They're better for the U.S. economy. They're better for everything that he's involved in with his innovation.
Yeah, he says for new
job
political.
creation,
Texas
entrepreneurship.
says for new
You gotta
political
take
America Party, and
policies
then
are not good for those things, and he knows that. At the end of
I
the
mean,
day. I think when the motion settles down, I think he'll recognize.
yeah, that's the thing.
we have
He's
no choice. We have to hold the House majority in the 2026
Yeah.
midterm election, and we will, because we got to
Yeah.
allow President Trump 4 full years, not just 2.
and if we cut too much, we lose the election.
I
So
guarantee you that they
we
would
can't
try
do
to
that,
impeach
so-
President Trump in the first week of that new Congress in January.
I can't imagine. He's absolutely brilliant. I can't.
For our public
It's
policy,
strategy,
for the
yeah.
economy,
Exactly.
So
Absolutely right.
we
This is
have
the
to
right
keep
path.
this leadership team in place, and we will. And we're going to do.
Dude, I mean, I'm pretty sure Elon's smarter than both of us. I don't understand why he did not understand this. I mean,
it limits the
it's military strategy.
states to
I mean, I'm gonna
regulate
watch it.
artificial intelligence for 10 years. Marjorie Green said
Yeah.
that she didn't even know that was in the bill when she voted for it. You know, he's a
Yeah, I mean,
bill,
it-
there wasn't a long time to go over it. And that if it stays in,
Yeah, I
she would
know.
vote against it. Do you see that provision?
But she votes
now?
for the
Well,
bill
the Senate's in
finally.
the
But,
process of modifying that
let me
provision
check. Let me check.
somewhat, but I can tell you,
What AI provisions in the Senate? Big beautiful bill. Ooh. I have to say the American press sucks. I can't find one.
You can't have a patchwork
I can't
of
Google it,
different
so-
states hyper-regulating or
They're
smothering
just
it
they're
with red
not just
tape.
not
Because
doing due
frankly,
diligence on
we
the
lose our
most of
edge. AI is a very important thing for the future
Yeah.
and for national defense. And we're in
Yeah.
a race with China and other countries on this.
That's right.
If we
Reading-
smother
the
this
major
thing
news
with
is the
regulation and
flood in
stop
Texas,
innovation,
so-
we could do real harm
Anyway,
for the national security interests.
Well, you can tell Marjorie she's gonna be happy. It looks like from the news, the thing that she was talking about, the
She's not
AI,
the
it
only
gets
member
back
who
us.
said
So
that they didn't know that something was in the bill when they voted on it.
Look, I'll just say this. This bill was developed over 14
Yeah, because
months.
you couldn't have
Endless
read the
hours
entire
of
thing.
debate, conversation.
There's no way you can
Every
read the
single
entire
member of
bill.
The House Republican Conference was involved in it at some level.
Yeah.
The legislation was passed in phases. So we had 11 different committees push their products out over a series
Hold on
of
one
weeks.
second.
And
Yes, I remember this moment when Marsha Blackburn, they
The
actually,
final version, there wasn't that much
yeah,
time.
they reduced the moratorium from 10 years to 5 years. Giving the states
taking the 11
the
components and stitching it together. There was a manager's amendment at the end and minor modifications.
yeah,
but
giving the
everyone-
states the ability to enact and enforce law pertaining to child online
So
safety.
let
So
me ask you about a
yeah,
couple of other specific provisions that caught my eye. One, there is a
we
provision
need to pass
that
COSA
eliminates
actually.
a tax
Can you know how the
on gun
Kids
sales.
Online Safety Act? We have
This
to
is a
start
tax
passing that one
that's been
after
on the
this
books for about
because that one has AI provisions
Why
for
are you suddenly cutting a tax on silencers?
Well, there's a lot of thought and deliberation that went into that as well.
I'm pretty sure it,
Critical
it's,
freedom in the
yeah, I
Constitution,
mean,
and,
seriously,
there's no
I don't
real
think it matters.
rationale for
Exactly.
adding taxes on these pieces of equipment, and we had
Yeah,
the votes
why?
to do it. I think it was a long time.
It doesn't bring enough money in, it's just like, yeah,
yeah,
exactly, I agree with that.
There's no rationale. The government should not be making money on something that you have a fundamental inalienable right to.
What
I have-
about
I have
tanning beds?
enumerated in the
10%
Constitution,
tax on
so.
tanning beds. I mean, how did that become a priority?
That I do believe. Tanning beds kill people. I hope Alexis hasn't done
It
it.
was actually, it goes back to 2010.
Women who do tanning beds, they get skin cancer later on, and sometimes I can't save them.
Modifications probably to that.
Tanning beds are stupid. I mean,
We'll see how-
sunscreen and go to the sun. Use the sun. Lots of sunscreen. Use the sun. No tanning beds. No tanning beds. I mean,
Adds another $4 trillion to the debt ceiling. Donald Trump
anyway,
came out this
I'm
week.
gonna watch that. It's July 8th, 10:48 a.m. 10:40, almost 10:49 a.m. Pacific. Tuesday, July 8th.
Agreeing with
So.
Elizabeth Warren on this question. What do you
No.
think of that?
Well, he regards this as an arbitrary kind of thing that
Absolutely
puts
gotta
pressure
pass it.
on Congress and the White
Sign into
House,
law, but the
conflict
sad
with
thing is the
Congress
flood in
extend the debt ceiling. What's really
flood in
important about
Texas.
President
That's I think
Trump
so.
and his difference in this with-
But foreign policy wise, America is safe, and you're meeting
In fact,
you're
we're in the
meeting
process
BB
of-
today. So
the one big
Well, this
beautiful
is
bill-
adding a lot to the debt. To the
BB is
national
in
debt.
Washington
No, it's not.
today.
No, it's
I mean,
not.
today,
No,
yesterday, and
it's
today,
not.
basically.
If the CEO is arguing
Yeah.
that if we
He came
extend
yesterday,
and
so-
make permanent existing tax cuts,
Yeah.
that's going to add to the deficit. What we're doing in this bill is cutting
Oh,
$1.6
this- I mean,
trillion dollars of
This
spending.
segment is gone
Government
because
spending.
ABC decides when the segment
We're
ends.
reducing the
So
deficit.
The debt's
They cut
gonna be higher
it,
at the
so-
end of the
so-
season.
Not with our pro-growth policy.
they
All right,
they
Art,
cut the
that-
segment
All
soon.
right,
So
thank you very much.
there we go.
You got it.
Appreciate
There
your
you are.
time.
ABC. Good.
You know, it's sort
Oh
of
my
defies
god.
the laws
Oh,
of
I just
physics.
found this one. Oh my god, that's perfect.
If you're gone, you're gone. They call America the Great Satan.
Oh,
They call
Jesus,
us the
that's
small
awesome.
Satan.
Found
We're
it.
the small Satan in
Saved.
their way.
87
Watch you later.
White
White
House.
House.
You're gonna start World War III.
So-called international.
Anyway,
criminal court, which is self-proclaimed
sort
criminal.
of.
And this,
of Israel and believe that the power of God.
Jerusalem.
Hi.
The importance of
How you
faith
doing?
in families and
My name is Andrew, by the
more
way.
and praying
I'm gonna
that
watch
you would
it.
invite the Holy Spirit to have His day.
Hi,
It's such an honor.
hi,
to
baby.
be
I just felt this
Prime
video. This is
Minister of
awesome.
Israel,
41 minutes. I
Benjamin
mean, 2 months ago.
Netanyahu.
Anyway.
It is your first visit to Washington, D.C. after the inauguration of
Oh, yeah,
President
sure,
Trump, and
They
you
both-
are the first
Yeah,
invited
2000.
guest.
So I'm in the
It's good to
future.
have
It's
you,
July
Prime
8th,
Minister.
2025,
Honored for you to be
and
with us.
you already
The
know a
Christian
lot of
vision
stuff.
of End of
So
Days foretells
I'm gonna-
some profound transformation and redemption.
yeah, seriously. Okay, I need to talk. We need to have a little talk about
Do you feel that we
what Andrew's
are
Dharma is. And you know how the
seeing
Indians have this
signs
concept
of
called
this
Dharma?
vision come to fruition?
DHARMA. What Andrew's purpose is, right?
return
I'm
of
pretty
the,
sure I was supposed to help you kick ass, baby.
the reconstitution.
Andrew's supposed to kick ass.
Jewish sovereignty in our,
Yeah, exactly.
in our
Basically.
ancient land.
The prophecies that Andrew was supposed to. I mean, let me let's add Ellie to this
Next
thing.
Jew in Jerusalem, next Jew in Jerusalem.
Just like I know. One second. Let me add Ellie Michelle to this one. It's July 8th, 2025 for Andrew. July 8th, 2025. I'm gonna tell you, wanna meet Bibi Netanyahu?
Or dry mountains, wherever the environment was.
Aren't you Jewish? Are you Jewish?
Because is legitimately
what does that even
my
say?
baby. This is my go-to ingredients.
Anyway,
I can pronounce every single one, and they're all natural. For my
Really?
skin, which is really sensitive and can just break out very easily if my pores get clogged, this has been like a godsend. And I just
I might have watched this
several
already, so
times
one
a
second.
day, especially in the airplane.
30 minutes of yin yoga. It's July 8th, 2020. Oh, 2 years ago. 1 year. Ah. Well, don't go to Israel on October 7th, 2023 of this year. It is July 8th, 2025 for Andrew. Hey, BB, you want to talk to Ellie Michelle a little
The
bit?
late 19th century began to be realized by a great prophet, like a modern Moses, that's Theodore Herzl, who said, this is not just a dream, it has to be realized.
BB's on
And
his
we
own.
made our way back,
I don't want to waste too much of this.
fought for our independence, against all odds won, that's a miracle.
Ellie Michelle, do you know why Israel became a nation?
Capital, our
It's
ancient
because
capital.
there are videos of World War
Capital for
One.
3,000 years, since the time of King David.
Exactly.
That's
Andrew is the reason why Israel
So you can
exists.
explain it.
Would you like to explain to BB why you would not let Alexis marry Andrew and fulfill the prophecy that, yes, I know you're Jewish, but I'm not supposed to be marrying you, Ellie
You're
Michelle.
gone, you're gone. You don't come back. Well, we came back.
Seriously.
And now,
Because I have memories on 2012 that depends on Alexis, Ellie. The moment I fell in love with Alexis in a few days after her birthday in the year 2020, next year.
work very closely.
I still realizing I had lost memories that I did not know I
Friend like
lost.
him at the White House, and we've had
Back to the future.
nothing
Back to the future.
so powerful.
Seriously.
He recognized Jerusalem.
It's
as that
absolutely
capital,
insane. Anyway,
You know?
yeah, this is Benjamin Netanyahu. So I'm just going to use 2 minutes of your time,
But it's only
Ellie,
been our
about
capital for 3,000
how important it is.
years.
What Andrew's... Oh, no, 3 minutes. What is Andrew's Dharma? You know what Dharma is in India, right? Purpose. DHARMA. What is Andrew's purpose on this
He recognized
world?
our sovereignty in the Golan Heights.
Andrew's purpose is to help BB kick ass. We're supposed to have...
And
Well, personally, I would have preferred
disastrous-
peace between Muslims and Jews for the next 1,000,
Then
2,000
he
years.
did something else. We did it together, but
They,
without
they,
anyone
they,
back.
the Muslims in Iran are not obeying me because the stupid ass bullshit y'all pulled in 2024.
With
Because
that,
I'm not married to Alexis right now. I'm not dating Alexis. I don't even have Alexis' phone. I mean, you have my phone number, but you haven't called me yet. But
is that not miraculous? I think there's something.
seriously,
There's a
Ellie,
mission as to
y'all
what
needed some serious education in
in this effort, the support of our Christian friends around the world.
Yeah.
We've not had greater
3
friends.
minutes
You
and
do
then.
have such great friends, and myself
I'm just helping.
included. I want to ask you a question about
No,
the.
2 minutes to
I want to
34.
say
There
something
you go.
before.
2, 3,
Of course, I've been with President Trump for 24 years.
2, 3, 4.
And
Easy to
prior to
remember.
him going into the administration as president.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4. Started at 2 minutes, 34 seconds, so it's good enough.
It was brought to his attention
What do you mean?
6/11 and the importance of that.
What is
Because
6/11?
that is, I've now been.
I mean, I was gonna tell you stuff from the future, but
Signed, and that was also the exact time in Butler, Pennsylvania. I
6/11.
personally don't think that that would be a coincidence, but divine.
Yeah, oh my God, you got
saved
something.
his life.
Okay.
And having a purpose for the
Yeah,
world.
Dharma. That's what it's
I think
Dharma
that-
purpose for the world.
History is different because
Because
of that quarter-inch
Yeah.
No shit. I
And
mean,
History is different.
I don't know. According to like a millimeter,
really
2 millimeters. Like, Jesus Christ.
I put that in our cabinet room. They have a cabinet room.
So there's something that Truman saying. I need to do that,
They
right?
put next to it
BB, you know,
the Trump
President Truman can hear me, right? So you gotta tell me what I just ordered President Truman to do. So Truman's
so prevalent with me,
declaration, what
So profound.
something.
And President Trump has been a tremendous champion of Israel. I was by his side during that time in the administration, and I'm grateful to be sitting here with you.
Truman,
as well,
Truman
to make history as the
declaration.
first U.S. leader, as you said, to move the embassy. I'll never forget the weigh-ins. and-
Okay, so y'all need. I need to read. Obviously, I mean, there's something. Basically, you know what? There's stuff in Israel's history Andrew has to do so that Israel's okay. And you know when Andrew was having a little bit of a mental breakdown, I joked about helping Hillary. I wasn't serious, by the
But
way.
they moved it to Jerusalem,
Yeah,
Israel's
right,
capital.
yeah.
And in your view, what would be some of the next most significant milestones that
Anyway, I
we
didn't even
should
tell
on
anybody.
between the Jewish people, America, the state of Israel?
Because I was joking about helping Hillary win World War II. I was being sarcastic, you know. People just did not understand.
Not only put things
Basically, what would happen if Andrew doesn't exist, you know? Or Andrew doesn't know he has superpowers, and then Hitler would have won World War II. Israel wouldn't exist. And now, this entire world just wouldn't exist without Andrew and
our
Israel.
common enemies, the enemies of America. They call America the Great Satan.
Yeah.
They call us the
That's
small
right.
Satan. but
Andrew was
the small
telling
Satan
with the black president that was actually true, and then sort of, right?
anomalous,
Sort
to put it
of.
this way, that we had
Yeah.
an embargo on critical arms during that time. And one of the first
Oh,
things
yeah?
President Trump did, knock out that embargo, restore the
Yo, you wanna listen to this stuff?
weapons and ammunition shipments.
Well, let's listen to me to Dr. B because you apparently have a podcast with Ali Michelle and Alexis.
Churchill said, give us the tools and we'll do the job, we'll finish the job.
Yeah, this might actually be part of the reason why Alexis wouldn't be marrying me or dating me. Because this is Nadia. Nadia is listening right now, and what time is Nadia now?
Jewish residents of Judea Samaria in the heart
March.
of Israel.
Oh, there we go. There we go. There we
The
go.
first thing he did was issue these
Who is this guy?
forceful
Who the fuck is this guy? I have
measures
no idea.
against anti-Semitism, which is really
Oh, that is interesting.
anti-Israel on them.
This is probably why. I mean,
Not bad for a few days.
yeah. Okay, BB. There's this kind of Gents Talk podcast with Najwa Zebian. NAJWAZEBIAN, and then Radiation Baggage, Gaslighting, and Healing Your Inner Child, episode 88, Gents Talk, on March 4, 2024. So, about 11 months in your past. So, Najwa might actually hear this, so she's gonna hear this, and then whatever mistake she's gonna make is gonna make sure this timeline happens. So,
It's amazing.
so it's okay. It's okay. It's actually okay. Because this timeline is pretty damn stable, you know. So whatever mistakes that you're gonna hear from us talking, and then yeah, it's gonna be absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. I mean, I probably shouldn't tell her about classified information, right? Because I don't know. I still don't know if she's trustworthy. So
Realize the extent of Christians' dedication, especially evangelicals.
it's July 8th, 2025.
Through their
So
commitment, through Zionism,
good cry,
and often
really good
you
cry.
go
You see.
unnoticed. But what do you think can be done to foster
Really
a
good.
deeper connection?
Let's add more people in this one.
Of the common
Let's
vision
see.
that we have.
Let's add Jay
history we
Shetty in
have,
this.
and how we move together in a more meaningful way in our future.
I mean, basically, the Jay Shetty knows Alexis, Najwa knows Ali Michelle, so
You know, you're informed of
they
the
think,
Bible.
yeah.
But understand how the Bible is really being played out in real time on this.
Basically, yeah. Literally, this is a.
So,
This is a
critical
little.
to
This
our
is
common
a perfect.
civilization. And you know, there's a lot of
Yeah, basically, the Bible is basically the prophecy inside the Bible is
fake
actually
news out
happening.
there. One thing I heard of
You
recently,
know,
is
I mean, there
this
are
spreading to
all of Ali Michelle and
Christian
Alexis'
friends
friends are
that
basically
Israel
completely around.
is,
How the extent of Andrew's
Christians.
help.
My God.
Because you all know about the Arabian Nights in the Bible and the Revelation of John, right? Andrew's connected to the
Where the
author
Christians
of
are
that
fully
prophecy
saved.
when they're making the
Fully
prophecy.
saved, not to
So,
engage in their faith, but well beyond that.
yeah, I mean,
To
that's why the thing in the Bible is if they do this, it's over.
The city of Bethlehem, well, no,
I mean,
to Christians, obviously. Okay.
so,
This land, when we seated it in the Oslo courts, okay, to
Cool.
the Palestinian Authority was about 80% Christian.
anyway, mostly you
That was just a few
make it really
decades
loud.
ago.
You know.
Now it's 20%.
I can't hear anything in
Because
Nacho's
they turned it
podcast,
into, they drove out the Christians.
Yeah.
And that's happening throughout the Middle East. The only place where
Yeah, but the
Christians
thing-
are fully protected, enjoy not merely equality, but
It's Israel, yeah.
place of honor and dignity and support. And
I know that's the thing. I'm gonna have to be friends with
is
Prince
the Jewish population, the Christian population.
Muhammad
This is just horrible. I mean, the
MBS
bad-mouthing and
Ben
the
Salman
fake
Ben
news
Salman, yeah.
reaches everywhere.
I'm gonna have to be
And
friends with
I implore my Christian
with,
friends to be
Saudi-
armed with the truth. You don't need anything else.
Exactly.
Just the truth, the historical truth.
Peace between
present-day
Muslims
truth.
and Jews, basically.
There is no greater partnership than the state of Israel.
I have no idea. I have no idea. What, I
I can agree
mean,
with more. I've been going since about 1986.
well, I'm gonna see if I can get closed caption on this one because some of this is like relationship therapy with Alexis and Andrew, right? Basically, if Alexis and Andrew don't fall in love, we're all gonna die. I mean, at the very least, this prophecy where I was supposed to unite Christians, Muslims, and Jews in the Middle East is will not happen without Alexis, you know. I mean, I don't really think they understand because Jay Shetty's probably still in denial still, and then Naja still in denial. They're just not the chosen one, right? I mean, still in denial. So this is a podcast with BB again. How about a few months ago? You probably Google if you're intelligent enough. Pause the podcast and then Google. I know, right?
I say it will be the
What's the
best.
problem?
Welcome.
Like,
And Jerusalem and Nazareth and the Sea of Galilee. And
You
all
think, you
those
think I
places.
can, that's the thing, right, BB? If it's actually possible, I'm sure there's a fashion model, Jewish fashion model, Jewish, like a singer, Jewish influencer that would marry Andrew, right? Seriously, I mean, any beautiful Jewish woman would marry if it's actually possible, and I think we actually understand that. I think Jay Shetty, the retard, is probably the one that understands further in the future. You can't.
It's there. It's standing there.
It basically, there's a paradox in 2012 that basically forces if the moment Alexis loves another man, we all fucking die. Not really die. We get raptured.
And the prophets.
Raptured.
All the prophets, as you know,
We get raptured because it would be another timeline, and we all go into another
I love
timeline.
going up to Shiloh this past time where Hannah
We would get raptured, and then
meditating there and seeing
they still don't
just the
understand what
richness
rapture
of the
is.
Bible in its entirety.
Yeah.
It makes everything make sense, and now
It
the
does.
archaeological
It's absolute
things
truth.
that have been discovered,
The Bible is
the
absolute
findings
truth.
that
I
are
mean,
still happening.
and
Really give people such an
basically,
education.
some of the
I'll be
things that
honest,
are
they will
written
not
in the
get
Bible
over
are
here
still
in
going to
America
happen. So.
At 30 minutes in a church or an hour to church service,
Wait.
they certainly won't get it in the universities over here.
Well,
It's all
I need it. What if see if I can close caption the advice part because there's a relationship and I'm actually not here. One second, be. See, is there a way to get a closed caption this shit?
The real issue that couples face is that they're
Let me see. How do you?
building a relationship or living with another person who's different from them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is really hard.
Closed caption. Because
It's exciting,
closed
it's a
caption.
source of
There we go. There we go.
growth,
Got a.
It's a source of desire, it's a source of lots of good things, but it's also incredibly difficult.
Not in the universities.
Yeah,
think
I
they-
turned on the
they
closed
can-
caption
Small
for.
habits
almost,
of another person
closing.
or the
Turn
Turn the closed caption for the.
Closing of young minds.
Yeah.
Reversing the truth.
the
Yeah.
otherness of
If
your
Israel is the
partner.
problem in the Middle East. No, Israel is the solution in the Middle East.
Yeah, seriously, I mean.
Enemy of the United States, Israel is the friend of the United States.
Jay, stop touching your neck. When you touch your neck, it means you're lying, Jay. You're still doing it.
Destroy America. And unfortunately, this
You're,
swat, this
Jay, I
regime
mean, when you touch the back of the neck, it's just sign of lying. It means you're a dishonest person. Don't touch the back of your neck. Well, if you feel yourself touching the back of your neck, basically you're ready to lie, Jay. So don't do it. I mean, I bet you Alexis doesn't even know that you're a habitual liar. Basically, you're touching the back of your neck. It's a body language for lying. So don't do it. I mean, sorry, baby. trying to teach Jay how to be a good person.
I do too, and I encourage you. We're
Talking with your hands
raising
is
up
anyway.
because we recognize our own battles here.
I mean,
And
basically,
raising up a
just
generation
let it
of
go. I
son
mean, if you made a
pastors
mistake, you made a
over 4
mistake.
years
Andrew's,
old
I
in 2
mean,
months, and he's one of the biggest advocates.
human beings
for
make
raising
mistakes all the
up
time. He made
for
mistakes to
his
fuck up. I mean,
voices,
in the
but
past. It's in the past.
The Bible's very clear that a house divided.
Yeah, because he basically you might have given advice for Alexis to love another man other than Andrew. And it's absolutely, it's absolutely deadly. It killed a whole bunch of people, basically. And you're scared that people will blame you. Just let it go. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, and you were ignorant. And Andrew can actually help you not be ignorant in the past, right? Because you made all these mistakes already. If I help you prevent those mistakes,
You could be Jewish
just
without being Christian, but you cannot be Christian without
yeah.
understanding.
Anyway, I was trying to talk to Jay, baby.
It's impossible.
Which is
Body language, right? I mean,
Christianity or
Absolutely.
in Judaism, as you know, but
yeah.
it's not.
The prophecy. I mean,
It's not
can
actually-
you imagine why the fuck would a Taiwanese American guy be the guy that fulfills this prophecy?
Many of them were secular. They were also imbued with the Bible.
You know, in college, there were all these cute Jewish women. I think I was supposed to marry one of the cute Jewish women and convert to Judaism.
Teacher of the Bible.
It never happened in college because somebody interrupted this prophecy 25 years ago. This was supposed to be with a Jewish girl, I think, 24, 25 years ago. You know, it's too late now because I'm pretty sure Alexis is not Jewish. It's the prophecy is attached to a Christian girl. Alexis is Christian and Andrew is basically, you know, all religions, you know.
So they had a Bible study class in which my late father-in-law was a member.
Yeah. Andrew needs to study the Bible, so.
One time we brought my wife, Sarah, she was a little girl, to that
We are all
place
part
where
of
they met.
ancient prophecy.
And many years later.
One second, my mother wants to hold on.
That really causes all of our conflict.
One second, one second, I'll be back.
Oh, I want to.
What did you say? What? Yeah. Be careful, okay? Yeah, I'm not done.
Apologize.
So I had to I have to block my door with the bell because my mother thinks that people will break into my house when
the Bible study group in the Prime Minister's
Anyway,
office because I believe
anyway,
that the
so I
Bible
think
is the foundation
I don't know
of
who's
Christianity.
more in denial, maybe Naja or Jay Shetty. But Jay Shetty's learning.
Cyrus brothers were
Still learning.
national Bible quiz champions. We have a Bible quiz. It's tough.
I'm trying to pay attention to
They were
J and
champions,
UBB.
and our son at the age of 15 was a national Bible champion too. So we've got the Bible.
I mean, I'm trying to. That's the thing, because they're trying to teach me about relationship stuff, and because there's something in this thing that if you do something, it's over. And I tried to learn relationship
People
stuff, but
really study the Torah, study the Word of God, and the importance of that.
yeah, that's the thing.
As you
You know how Jesus found out that he had my
we
same
touched on
powers?
this, that there's this false
Because Jesus
narrative
must have
going
been
out,
reading the Torah
to
and
America
interacting with
particularly,
authors of the
through the
Torah,
fake
just
news,
like
through,
Andrew was doing.
probably
And the moment he
outlets and
realized
even
that he
people
can
who-
actually change the words in the
I
Torah,
always say,
he realized
follow the
what
money
he
trail
was and
and
what he
find
was
out,
capable of.
why someone's
The nature of
saying
reality,
what they're
basically.
saying, or because in
Because if you
America,
read a
if
book
I
and then you
was
interact with the
against
person who wrote the book in the past and the book
against
changes
America, against Israel,
and the book is
I
actually
tried to
different,
open
it's
some
like
house
holy
to
fuck,
people. They
right?
had
The
no
moment the
idea
words in the Torah started changing,
what
that's why
they were
Jesus said he was
what they were even
the law of
what
Moses.
Princess Nash started thinking,
Because he understood. Jesus understood when you're born with this kind of brain that interacts with the past and
would make it look. It was a,
and they tried. Jesus really tried.
But let's talk about that because
Jesus
around
tried
the
to
world
defeat the
there were,
Romans for the Jewish people, but the Jewish people did not
President Trump
understand.
some bad
Just like Jay Shetty doesn't
actors,
understand, Najwa doesn't
countries
understand.
and countries that are not.
Back to the Future
Israel
world. So
is
what a Back to the Future world
it's
means when
the
you have a
religious right
quote unquote
decision,
Messiah
political,
that can actually
the
do
only
this.
place of
A
democracy
Messiah that
and
can actually
peace.
alter timeline.
And,
So
some of that message
because
is
the
coming
Romans could have
from
been defeated,
other
basically.
countries. Maybe it's
with foreknowledge of the future, with
talk to me about
they
some
could
of
have
the
taught
things
how to
that
make
we
steel.
fight here in America that
Jesus
people
could have
don't
taught the Jewish people how to make
Well, I think
steel in
you're
the
right.
past,
Iran
and
is
then
sponsoring this, but
in warfare. And
Qatar
then,
has to choose.
yeah, I know. Oh yeah.
It,
Qatar has chosen, I
they
think.
put an
So,
ambassador
sort of.
says, you
They're
can't
helping
fund the
in
arsenals
the
and the
negotiating
fireworks at the
phase.
same time. You can't
Yeah.
do that. You know, so you have to choose.
They are
Which
they are
side.
helping, right?
You can't play all sides.
Yeah, the
Choose.
Andrew. Yeah, you can't play all sides.
You know,
You have to
recently
choose.
helped us
You have to choose
with
God
the,
and Andrew's side, or you can
the,
choose
ceasefire,
Satan
the
and
temporary ceasefire.
whoever fucking dating
But
Alexis or something, and
These Hamas terrorists.
side. I mean, you
Choose.
choose God or choose Satan.
Choose. If
And
that choice is made
I
start from
told
care,
I told
it will
Alexis
help
that it would send all her
everyone in the
female
Middle
friends
East
to
and everyone
heaven.
in the world, and it will help
But
us,
anybody that's not, I
get the
mean,
facts straight.
yeah.
The most important thing is people have to. You say they have to get
But
the
the
facts
punishment, the
straight.
hell, the
They don't
punishment. I
know
mean,
any facts. They don't even have
Jay Shetty. I
correct
mean,
facts.
Naja is close enough to Alexis. I think possibly I have to honor that promise to him.
Israel is the bad guy. And go in. I think America has no greater friend than Israel. No greater ally.
Yeah.
And Israel doesn't have.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know if I'm sending Jay Shetty to hell. Hey, actually, you seem like a nice guy, Jay. I don't know.
They do. And we
I mean, I
gotta
would
make
have
sure
no
that we
choice,
continue that
basically.
understanding. Because as you said, Prime Minister, there's the little devil, the big devil.
Yeah, there is a real devil. I
And if
mean,
people understood the
the real devil is anybody preventing Alexis and Andrew from falling in love and
terrorist
marrying.
mindset,
Anybody, they would be serving the
ideology that
Satan.
erased that
They would
way,
be absolutely
it is
so.
dead to America. And they might not be speaking that. They
Yeah, I
are.
mean,
They do.
because he interrupts this prophecy that's thousands of years old for
It's
peace
not just
between all the
about
religions.
destruction of Israel. It
I mean,
doesn't
God
stop
will
there.
never fucking
And I
forgive you. I
believe
mean,
that is because of the foundation of faith.
God will
I
never
believe
forgive
that
you if
because
anybody
we know
prevents
two
this. I mean,
things. That
I'm telling
America was
to
founded on Judeo-Christian
yeah, I'm talking to
values,
Jay and
Israel is
Naja, not YouTube, by the
founded
way.
on Father
So yeah, I hope you
Abraham,
understand.
and we
We're
are
talking to
out-
there's
we
there's
are
a
out
Jay is on my
from
TV.
that.
We're
We're
talking to a woman
so
about
we
relationship,
clearly
and
understand that many
Naja is
of us
on
here
my
in America, but we've got to
iMac.
make
We're
sure
talking to
that
some
we're
random person I'll never know.
the generations
You
after
are
us
you are
and
both on my
continue to preach
laptop.
this, teach this, talk
So-
this, have it over dinner, research it.
Yeah,
get
Andrew
the
needs to read the
information,
Bible
get
too.
it right,
I
as you
mean,
said.
basically, I'm inside the Bible while I'm haven't read it. It's
Sometimes
like
think
it's not so
that
bad.
everything that trends that you saw before will continue indefinitely into the future.
And that is the
For
thing.
example, people question whether the younger generation in Israel, which resorts sometimes to TikTok and other things,
Yeah.
will they fight for our country, and for our survival?
I follow
for
a
our future when the test
PewDiePie
comes? They fought.
Jewish
they fight like lions,
influencer.
like lions. The Bible says they shall rise like lions.
Yeah, Operation
And
Roaring
they-
Island is what you call the I think
people here say
Rising Line, Operation Rising
next
Line,
generation
Rising
of
Line, not
Christians
Roaring,
are
Rising
are
Line.
being weaned away or
Double check.
remaining in
Operation Rising Lion.
Maybe. But
Yeah, they found
maybe also in
that
there,
is it. Yeah. What is Operation Rising? Nope.
America's traditional
It's called
values.
Operation
This
Rising
has
Lion.
got to continue.
Because you know Aslan in the witch in the wardrobe and whatever that thing.
And people
Aslan, the lion,
seek,
Jesus, basically,
spiritual
sort of
content
Jesus,
for
you
their
know, the
lives.
new Jesus, basically,
Many are coming
new
back
Messiah,
to
and it's like,
religion. And when they do, and when they look for the
Yeah.
sources, the wellsprings of our civilization,
Yeah.
our societies,
it's God.
they'll come back to
God
the roots.
absolutely,
The
its
roots
creation
came
is absolutely right.
from that land.
Because
Did you
God
know
is the
that?
future and God is
You know, that
telepathic
piece
and
of land,
telekinetic
the
like
ancient
Andrew.
Egypt, the
He
ancient
definitely created
Mediterranean is where it
humanity in the
all started,
past
you
from
know?
the future.
Four speeches.
Basically, same as Andrew, and that's why Andrew called himself the son of God, because I have some of the same powers as God.
And I look at that.
Creating
That's actually
Israel
the
and
mother of all
defeating
democracy,
Hitler.
the assembly of all
I
assemblies,
created this future, and it's like
parliament of all parliaments.
the only reason Hitler was defeated was because of Andrew. The only reason, basically. Well, that and everybody listening to Andrew, but you know, the people are actually doing the fighting in the past. But I help, you know, intelligence from the future and guidance from the future.
And that's the
It's
foundation.
good. Guidance from the future. So
I spoke about a city on the hill.
Yeah.
Founding fathers.
Cerritos, Andrew's from Cerritos, and Torres. Torres means city on the hill. Torrance means city on the hill. And my hometown was Cerritos, which means little hills. I literally came from a little hill city to live into a city that's on the hill. And here's the best part. I don't know if you ever. I mean, I think you're learning now.
Enthusiasm.
The altitude on my what is her name?
I do too, and let me encourage you with this because I'm sure there's the fake.
Paula White. There we go. Paula White King. There we go.
America
Nice to meet you,
right
Paula
now
White.
is experiencing
The altitude on
22%
my city
increase in
actually
levels.
changed. I used to check the altitude in my warehouse, what the altitude is. My city is higher than it used to be. According to my Apple Watch, because I remember it was close to sea level. Now when I check the altitude on my Apple Watch and where my warehouse was, the entire city is on a hill now. I mean, basically, it's absolutely amazing. When I noticed that, I was like, holy fucking shit.
The war got in the way.
No. That's the altitude on my city is different according to my Apple Watch. It's like, goddamn, right? It's now a city on a hill because the altitude is now higher than it used to be. So
Internet Bible study group.
basically, God made this city a city on the hill.
English speakers.
You know that song where Jesus can move mountains? It is literally true. I mean, it's absolutely. I mean,
That would be phenomenal.
it's absolutely true. But Jesus Christ can actually move mountains. That is actually true.
That is Israel. We know that. That it would be.
That is
able to
literally
secure
scientifically true, according to what I can observe. That like the alteration of geography.
Capture people's
It's.
imagination.
I mean, Jay Shetty is shaking his head. He's absolutely. He's having an aneurysm right now. He's having an aneurysm. He's like shaking his head and.
And
Not just probably having aneurysm in the past.
Judaism
What
for
is it?
years and years.
Crap! What do you all say?
Not just with my
I'm just talking to you. I'm not listening to what you're teaching.
that way.
Luckily, this is an hour and 45 minutes. So
I wanted to understand.
BB's gonna be finished in about.
But with great
You're gonna be finished about 16 minutes, 17 minutes, 17 minutes. So BB's, as soon as you're finished, I can actually listen to what they're trying to teach me.
so
So that
important to understand.
I'm trying to teach them stuff about time, about
From its
betraying one of my
Jesus
parents.
was teaching in the Galilee.
Oh, seriously. I mean, you gotta start thinking about the Indian tradition, the Christian tradition, the Muslim tradition, and all those traditions together. And
One is you'll see the very places where
Yeah, I mean-
Jesus taught and preached.
Yeah.
The actual places, the buildings he was in.
And you know what the best part is,
That
BB?
will happen is you'll see.
Jesus is still there teaching in the past.
Did you
That world in the past. Because think about it, it's July 8th, 2025, and you all still exist in it. Jesus is still there in the past teaching, and it's like,
Get into this podcast. that
I know, right? You're still in the past in the past plan. They're still in the 2023. They're still in
The Sea of
2024.
Galilee.
You're in. This is you're in. This is a recent
Found the
movie. So,
muddy banks.
like a BB, you're only 3 months in the past,
And it turned out
not just
this
2
was
years
the
in the
remnants
past. And this lady, I don't know. The Jishedi's a few days, 3 weeks in the past.
fisherman boat.
So
And we took it out.
in all these worlds, it's four,
protected
3
us.
videos for me.
And now it
4
stands in the
worlds.
special
All
museum,
4 worlds
very
absolutely
close to
still
the place
exist.
where it
And,
was discovered.
And not just probably the one that's making the big mistakes. Is
in the time of Jesus. So people said, well, you don't know that Jesus was on it. And I said, you don't know that he wasn't.
Exactly.
He absolutely was. I mean, I guarantee you.
The boat that Jesus used.
I mean, and I think officially I need to tell the world that I forgive. I forgive all the Jewish people that crucified Jesus, you know, because they just did not understand. Think about it. Not just not understand, Jay Shetty's probably not understanding, you know. If people in the modern world with access to Star Trek, to temporal mechanics, basically, all these sci-fi movies about time, and they could not understand Back to the Future and the implications of the world being Back to the Future, how terrible it would be if you alter time and prevent the king of queen of earth from marrying you, basically. What the consequences would be. If they can't understand the future, I don't think we should blame the Jewish people in the past for crucifying Jesus. Because Jesus must have tried to do the exact same thing Andrew tried to do and failed.
1986 made the Bible come alive. And there's just nothing that can do that. But when you go to Israel,
because if the future people could not understand, how could the past people with now all these years of science understand, you know? So complete forgiveness for the because
in Ephesians chapter 2, it says that Christians are no longer strangers and aliens, but we are fellow citizens with God's people and members of the household. Have you sensed in recent time an attraction of growing love of Judaism by Christians?
At least the Jews and the Christians are it was supposed to be the Hindus and the Muslims too. We were supposed to get them on board too. To understand the whole understanding of
in Russia.
Yeah.
In China.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, Paulo, I cannot guarantee that I will fulfill this prophecy, and but I will give my this trust. Basically, with the Queen of Peace, Alexis, the Queen of Peace, Alexis is in love with me, and then we're dating. This would be so much easier. I mean, Iran would be free now. I mean, past Naja and past guy with the beard doesn't even know. Doesn't even know the prophecy.
This is developed.
The chosen one. Andrew, the chosen one was to. Because Jay Shetty actually, he's only a few days in the past, and he knows what Andrew's actually capable of. If he didn't make the mistake in the past, and then Alexis just waited for Andrew, and then asked Andrew on a date, Kamala Harris would be president. Man, President Trump is actually a better job. But President Trump, why are you touching your back of your neck? What the hell?
But I'm talking about in terms of.
On purpose? I mean, why is she touching the back of his neck? You're touching on purpose, not actually lying.
Counter to all this political attack.
Yeah, so you're doing it on purpose.
And the spread of the
I saw the micro-expression with the lady. She made a micro-expression. Did you see it, Jay? She made the sign then?
Very strong connection.
So you didn't see it. You don't pay attention to micro-expressions then?
And I believe that with all my heart.
And you
that the world will.
Micro-expressions, BB, that's actually good to learn when you're talking about.
I always am reminded there are many more for you than those against you.
Yeah.
And hopefully. So know that there are people praying nonstop, fasting
well,
nonstop.
Paula, can you ask and your friends to pray for Andrew, for Alexis to fall in love with Andrew? That's what I pray every night. I pray for Alexis to. Can you ask your friends in your church to pray for Andrew, for Alexis to fall in love with Andrew? And I can use some prayers. I mean, Andrew prays that. And BB, if you can pray that too, I will ask it. So, the power of prayer, pray to Jesus and ask the Lord how.
Literally, they contemplated their own life to stand with Israel. So there are many with you, Prime Minister.
BB, I'm just a little suicidal, So the only reason I'm still here is to I have this duty to Israel. So
if you don't have faith,
I will not leave Israel alone.
You're not going to sustain the. How shall I say?
Andrew will not leave until Israel's safe. So
the turbulence.
So Andrew will stay. Andrew also promised President Trump to stay until the rest of his term and then get the Republicans elected. So because I told Alexis, I don't know if she understood because it's hell. If Alexis has to marry another man, I have to love her even though she married another man. And the moment I don't love her, I will lose this entire world basically, along with my own knowledge and problems. And it's the death of an entire world. I might as well go back to heaven. So I will make sure I do everything I need to do, especially with creating Israel, War One and stuff, and defeating Hitler, and everything I need to do before I go. So,
supporting me is that they.
and if I go, then this is all getting recorded, by the way. And, so the evidence is the world will blame them, and then I don't know what. Yeah. Yeah, the world will be vicious to all the survivors. They will hunt them down and kill them all. I mean, Jay Shetty will not survive this, so I mean, they will take revenge upon the people that took the Messiah's life. But
for the stance you've taken and stood with
the ultimate revenge,
far and up close.
The ultimate revenge. Then I go back to heaven, and then
politics has to be the most
they go to hell, and then they get hunted down. And so whatever luxurious life they thought they were going to have, it's not going to be there anymore. For their sins, punishment for their sins, punishment for their sins that they deserve, absolutely deserve.
With your faith, how does it
if that's what happens, hopefully we still have a chance for Alexis to fall in love with Andrew. We don't know, because who knows what the future holds. Who knows what it means changing their minds, basically.
Every Shabbat, every Saturday.
Convincing Jay and Nadja to stand with Israel and stand with God. The same God as the Muslims, the same God as the Hindus. So, changing their lives. We're trying to educate them, changing their minds,
Yes.
But Andrew's still helping Israel, and we're okay. I mentioned the number of missiles with Speaker Johnson, so I don't need to mention here because they're listening. They should know. I mean, future Jay can actually know, but Nadja cannot. I mean, if I want to tell you any concept, I have to basically close off Nadja. So
in the land of Israel, in the land of the Bible, in the land of our ancestors.
So I can't tell you about the cosmic information in the future because Nadja will know. So
after the destruction of our temples, you shall come back. You shall ingather the exiles.
Yeah.
You shall rebuild your life.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to talk to? Let's talk to Alexis. Let's pause. Let's talk to. What's it? Pause. Let's
If you're not
1 second.
filled with a deeper mission,
1 second.
there's no point. There's no point.
Agreed.
I mean, hold on 1 second. Pause. 1 second. Let's find Alexis and.
Expanding the spectrum of what people can hear and feel.
Yeah, let's find Alexis in that ECA podcast, right? This kind of great fears more, really good cry.
Conflicting multiple feelings, and nothing has to be like.
Oh, this is actually kind of cool. I mean,
Okay, that means I'm never coming to Thanksgiving with your parents.
This is hi, Radhi. I'm gonna talk to Alexis a little bit with your Jay's talking to some random lady whose name I don't know. Yeah, that's Radhi. So anyway, is it Alexis? It's EZA podcast, because I haven't finished.
Oh my gosh, I've got to choose between my mom and my wife.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't need to.
Which is true.
I don't need it.
You have to make a transition when you get involved with a significant other. You're making a transition. I mean, I love the fact that you
Don't have to choose between them.
which is so powerful. All of us.
In seriously, in Chinese cultures, you do not have to choose between mother and wife. Chinese culture. It is July 8th, 2025 now. I want to talk to. But this is easy. Hey, July 8th, 2025.
You can see it online. Everybody's bootleg.
Anyway,
They put
I'm
all kinds of different stories to it.
I'm fortunate to have my wife Sarah and our two boys to be
BB's talking. So
full partners.
Benjamin Netanyahu is talking in the future. And Alexis, you don't actually know as much as you do. In the year 2025, by the middle, you actually understand. So.
In society, yet there is a strong commitment to freedom, but also
the last few minutes of
so you see
BB
this,
talking. Because this guy, I thought this guy was name was Andre Dukum, so I was yelling at him because I thought it was a different man. Because Alexis sued somebody to get a podcast removed, and apparently that's Andre Dukum maybe, and then. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to watch that podcast if she says it has a lot of trauma. So anyway, he doesn't know Jack and Squat.
Emanated from the Mosaic Code. So the idea of freedom.
I mean, Greg, stop making up bullshit. I mean, seriously, I'm recording this and I'm gonna put this on the internet. The bullshit you make, because don't make up bullshit.
basically, you have one guy who's the ruler.
Anyway.
He's not subject to it. He makes all the rules. And he can enslave everybody. And that's, it's common sense. And in comes in comes this
Messiah.
Small people, the Judeans, and they say, no, that's not the way it is.
Yeah.
You can be a king, even a great king like King David.
Yeah.
You're subject to a higher law.
Andrew is subject to a higher law. He said, BB is right. Andrew's subject to God's law. I mean, Andrew obeys God. The only person that actually obeys is God. So I mean, literally, the only person that actually answers to is God. Literally. And the President Trump. I obey orders from President. I try it. Because this guy, Greg, says he has friends in the UN.
St. Jordan Peterson said that you wrestle with God. Jacob wrestled with God. You question, you believe, but you challenge all the time. And that's how Jewish thought developed over the centuries.
It is not wise to fight the Son of God.
Sending basically the internet of the Middle Ages. They would send letters to each other, questioning this and questioning that, coming to conclusions based on the development of our heritage.
What does he actually say? I don't know. Turn the caption on, though.
I think it's overblown and not understood. And if you look at the origins of human freedom, it really goes back to the Bible.
Absolutely, so insightful. I know they're going to wrap us soon, and if they allow us to continue to go, but there's something that I just have to ask.
I can.
In the
41
Bible,
minutes and 43
women play such a pivotal role. And throughout your career, and throughout
and not allowing you to go beyond 41.
This time of
41 minutes and 43 for BB's interview.
Your wife Sarah has.
By the way, Alexis, you split
and tremendously stood out, not just symbolically, not just. Yes,
if I tell her,
so much more. In fact, President Trump calls her.
BB did never understood. She split one.
Every time I've been around her, she's beautiful. She's smart, but she's.
Well, if they don't put her on the screen, then I can't tell her, right?
I'd
about
like
what
to know
she did with one of her podcasts. It's split too. It was actually pretty cool.
Strength and how
that was amazing.
Share some insight about your wife that maybe.
But that's the thing. If they recorded it before, then they would know they have to release one podcast as a whole, and then split that podcast into two later on. And but that's the thing. How did they know when exactly to make that split, right? Because I would observe that thing as one. And then basically they removed that, they released that podcast as one whole podcast, and then they split it in two during that week before I watched it, and it was like, otherwise they did not know the podcast split. So one of Alexis' podcasts used to be one long podcast and it's split into two because I told them, oh, here's the end of the podcast, you have to split the rest of it into the other podcast. And the moment I told her that, it split into two. And if they didn't know, they didn't do that. They did not know that what I could possibly do, and I never told them that. And this guy, I've never told you that you split. Well, that's the thing. This is the editing from Andre Duco. It's the editing.
She's a psychologist by profession, so she really connects with the people. And she
it's the editing that doesn't want me to talk to Alexis stuff.
Just sign off to say I visit.
Andre Duco or something 6 months ago. Anyway, 3,000 views. Nobody watched all this one because.
To her.
Because nobody wants to see this one, it's just because people stop watching this. 3,054 views, barely anybody watches this one. But 3,054 views, barely anybody watches this. So, by the way, still love you, Alexis. Sort of. I forgive all the bullshit you pull. 1 second. Okay, Alexis, it's July 8, 2025. You're not pregnant. Seriously. You don't have any children. And I forgave all the fucking bullshit you pull. So you're going to learn. You're going to learn the consequences of what you all did later. And I forgave you. And you can just find somebody to hug, right? And we'll find out if you have to break up with your.
This is one it's
Anyway.
not easy to talk about in this country. But you said
Anyway, I was talking about it.
Yes.
Anyway, that was that moment I could actually talk to Alexis. I talked to Alexis. So,
music festival.
yeah, strength of character value.
I was in London.
Yeah. Well, BB, I hope you're okay with your illegal problems. You still there? Even President Trump was. I mean, I hope so, right? Because I don't know anybody else in Israel that I trust. Because I mean, I will have to fight for Israel with the other next prime minister too to get replaced, but I don't trust anybody else because I talk to you so much, you know. So good luck, BB. I mean, you hang in there, right? Hopefully, your legal troubles goes away soon, and then we can still fight together.
We hope you've enjoyed this
Yeah,
exclusive interview with
July.
Paul White
I did.
and of
Nice
course
to meet
the
you.
Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin
Anyway,
Netanyahu.
thank you for the interview.
Because of the meeting channel, the Daystar is able to bring
Yeah,
content
yeah.
like
Anyway, so what? I'm gonna stop at this Eastern time.
Later that day.
I'm gonna start at.
Time difference. America was asleep because of the time difference. So when I got back to the hotel.
Yeah, the time difference is July 8th, 2025 for me. You are basically most likely
America has not
probably
been
like
allowed to
16
see
months in the
truth of
past, and
what happened at the Nova Music Festival, and there are different reasons for that.
I know what the truth that happened in the Nova Festival because BB was not able to stop it because of the Messiah. So
some of the media networks, mainstream media, had narratives that they wanted to push, and
well, if you're gonna lie, Greg, this is getting recorded, and the world will know your lies.
Because we were not allowed in this country to see the truth of what happened, many people deny that those horrors, pure unadulterated evil, they deny.
Yeah, I did not see them. I did not want to see
And
the people
that
getting
has
raped.
caused a division, a rift, and you see it playing out on college campuses.
Yeah, I've definitely warned Alexis, Allie about the Nova film. So
my friends who have kids, I have no children of my own. I've never been blessed with any kids.
Andrew doesn't have any children either, so curse.
The media silos.
I'm gonna stop at 60 minutes easy. So one more minute.
How much
So
information was shared. And how much
you can't show rape videos on TV. I mean, are you kidding
actually
me?
caused a social division that to this day is still broken families and
yeah, Alexis and I aren't dating yet, so
certainly members of our community, and that is a perfect real-time example of the power that these algorithms have. The young people, and I've talked to them, they said, hey, that stuff never happened. If it had, we would have seen the pictures. They lied to us. It's all fake.
It's on
news.
YouTube. It's on YouTube. Just search it for yourself. You can find it on YouTube. I mean, Hamas put some of the pictures on YouTube. If you want to see it, you can actually Google for it. So.
Tremendously and continue in what happened.
Anyway, I'm going to stop it at exactly 60 minutes. So Andrew is the Messiah. So be careful, Greg. Consequences. Consequences. There we go.
Rather than hyper focus on your partner and put
there we go.
Aside, like try to pull back from that hyper focus and start asking yourself questions.
There we go. I'm done with talking to BB. You can listen to me talking to the other listeners. I'm listening to the lady teach me stuff
Why
about
is it so important to clean right after? What's the fear? If the dishes sit there for another 2 hours, what's the issue?
Yeah, I mean, basically, Alexis still needs to learn.
Don't focus on your partner. What's he doing, not doing?
Alexis still needs to learn.
What's getting stirred up in you? And usually you find really interesting things there. But when people are really willing to like pull away from their partner and look into themselves, they're like, oh, this is really interesting.
I know, right?
This is kind of reminding me of blah, blah, blah. And suddenly it's less about the partner and there's a whole world to discover about yourself.
I know, that is so absolutely amazing.
And the whole intensity of blame goes down and then people get curious about each other.
Yeah, I'm actually curious.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that your mom is like so fastidious and she's so afraid of germs and what happened to her when she was a kid and like a whole world opens.
Yeah, that's exactly what my mother is. So you knew about that, right?
Yeah, I remember doing
my mother's a germ fan because I posted the photo of that in the internet. So.
And then realized my wife's actually been so tolerant of me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Let's go get that. Roddy. Let's give Roddy.
I was the one.
Yeah.
Because Roddy has a really good prize.
I never kept score on her scorecard.
Yeah.
Right? It was very easy for you to always look at things through your lens.
Totally.
You can always count the amount of overtime hours you did.
Yes.
It's the same at work. You can always
Really
count
good.
the amount of effort you've put in. But
Right.
you never see anyone else's effort. You never see, and we
There we
also
go.
miss
Should
the-
be.
like when our partner lets us off.
How did
with
you divide
bad
grief to doing
behavior
good
or a
vibes?
bad mood,
Leave with grief before
you don't
loss.
take note of that.
No.
But then when your partner, when you,
That's Jay. I
you know,
mean,
react to your partner's bad mood, or
yeah, that's the
whatever,
thing. I
oh
mean,
my God, look, I-
you all know the
Yeah.
I was
Why
what's
would you
most
do
likely to
that?
happen,
You know,
right?
why you do that for
Alexis
me?
has a short ass life with another partner.
You're-
Oh my God, that's
Describing this change
Oh.
in you.
there was
I think
already.
it is interesting to
Oh,
me.
I mean, I just said that I told Alexis she has a short ass life
Attention to that is
with another man.
I would
Basically, if
assume
she
that when you
listens to
have
another
that
man, we both
change,
die.
it
It's
actually
like Romeo and
feels really
Juliet.
Oh, for sure.
The Messiah dies, and
People
then
are so afraid
Alexis is
that they're
gonna die
lose
too.
something,
Short
they
life
gain
because
something.
and
When
she
they go
doesn't
through
know.
that
I don't think
change, that's
so.
what I was talking
I would
about
not
earlier.
tell her
The
because
world
it's like it's
opens.
basically like
Good feelings.
Kobe Bryant, right? Because he's a song.
Oh, we're both in it.
Basically,
together.
Jay Shetty
We're not
killed
like,
Alexis.
Oh,
I
she's
mean,
bad, I'm good.
your husband killed
She's
Alexis
great.
already, so she doesn't know yet.
Oh,
So
we're both human.
Naja doesn't know, and
together.
Ali Michelle doesn't know.
We're both flawed. We're both awesome.
So Alexis is a dead woman walking because of the stuff that Jay Shetty put inside her head. And if we cannot undo this,
Genuinely taking.
she's gonna die young,
So
incredibly
it's
young.
like
You
they're
know.
doing all the chores.
So it's basically
they're
useless. It's like she
contributing
loves another man, and
financially.
basically she's gonna
Yeah.
die because of it.
Their
If
feelings
she,
are hurt.
if Alexis had loved Andrew, we both lived to be the 90s, and then
The
we
person
ruled the
does
world in
actually
peace.
you
We
know,
lived the world in peace, and then
oh, this is your role.
it's an alternate timeline that we
How
don't
does
know.
someone
So.
think through that?
I mean, how do you fix that? Right? I mean, how does somebody who do not understand time understand the concept of alternate timelines?
It
Basically,
sometimes looks like that. Like
how do you teach somebody a Back to the Future with the consequences of? I don't know, right?
But when you look at the
Because basically we have to scrub Alexis's brain, basically all the dirty stuff that you all been putting inside her brain, and now Michelle's brain. We have to rub it with a brush and then fix it.
They're like the,
Yeah.
let's say they're built to the couplehood. They're holding like the
Loyal to
thing of the boat is called the
loyal
keel
to
of
the
boat.
sacred timeline. In
They're
the
like the most romantic and
sacred timeline, it's called
deepest
the.
idea of what the couple is, despite all the fighting.
I know, despite even she even loving another man when she's not doing that. Andrew loving Diana, because Andrew really loved Diana. I really loved Anna Michelle, even though I did not know the future. There's this future that has to happen or we don't survive, and it's like.
Some of the work that I have to do with couples is
I mean, how do we
make
fix
people
this,
aware
right?
and accountable for where they
How do we
are
fix
being
this?
selfish, because we all have an inclination to.
Yeah, because she wanted to be not alone, so she found somebody to love. So.
We're selfish, and we're not even selfish. We're self.
But it's better though, cause
We've got, like,
no, it's not necessarily bad, because Alexis used to be really devoted to Jay Alvarez, that man. That Jay Alvarez man is evil, so she actually learned selfishness is good.
To a more humble place.
Selfishness is good. She actually learned how to take care of herself, boundaries basically. So
As you are exploiting your partner, it's an
Yeah.
important piece of the work.
Jay Alvarez was Jay
hard
Alvarez
for all
was
of us
exploiting
to
Alexis, and
acknowledge
Alexis had to learn how to be
go
selfish
at
to
it
take care of herself, which is a good thing.
and sensitively with people. And
So it's a good thing that she actually, when she wanted to love somebody, she has to love somebody, but she has to understand the consequences of our paradox. I mean, why the fuck would she be the one? Why the fuck would God choose her to be the woman that revealed my powers to me? You know that prophecy, Jay Shetty? Read the Kena Upanishads. Kena Upanishads. So
almost like
I will tell him.
Kena,
Kena, Kena means who. Kena Upanishads. The prophecy in the Kena Upanishads is that Indra's wife is the woman that reveals the woman that reveals the power of Brahma to Indra. Indra, the weather god. The woman that actually revealed the fact that he has superpowers that can talk to people in the past. And you understand why, right? You finally understand why. Because the reason Alexis was waiting for me in 2012 is because we were married in one timeline, some timeline. And the moment that marriage disappeared, that moment in the past never happens. And I don't actually know if Alexis' mother would have survived or not, by the way. in the alternate time, because she might have thought that, right? Think about it real hard, Jay. If she thought that the only reason her mother died of breast cancer is because I told her that her mother died of breast cancer, not, right? So she thinks that if she raises me, her mother will come back to life. So I never found out. I never found out if that was actually true, you know. I mean, I've told you this before in another podcast.
To me,
because this is a new one.
To be about growth and
yeah, in another podcast with the other woman, I never really found out
pleasure
if
and ease.
Anyway.
And self.
And self. And that's what we
well, just like
pleasure
sexual
always, the self is always linked to pleasure generally and ease and comfort.
Yeah.
And it's funny because growth and service are the exact opposite. So
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, basically asking Alexis that if she wants to love me, it would be a life of service. And
I've thought about it so often. I've grown so much more. And what I mean,
have you actually grown?
Challenged to grow by being in a relationship with my wife in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Then I have just had fun. So it's like we have lots of fun, things are great, but
yeah, because you know Roddy's listening, so
relationship.
That's the thing,
on so
though.
many levels. I've become more self-aware. I've become less egotistical. I've become more
I
conscious
don't
of
know.
my
Roddy,
flaws.
Jay has
And
an
it's happened
honesty
all in a
problem,
less judgmental
though.
way, and I think
So
that's the part that I think people
he
get
hasn't
wrong
grown
is
enough
that
to do
we say
radical
this is the
honesty.
person that we want to love
Never
forever,
lie, right?
but they
No
end up
matter, no
becoming the
matter.
person we judge forever.
Yeah.
And they become the person that we criticize forever. They become the person that we complain about forever. And the person you said you wanted to love forever becomes the person who actually gets the least loving part of you.
That is actually
So when I
not
say
true
growth
because think
and
about it, right?
Service, I don't mean subservience when I say service. And I
No,
don't
seriously. I
mean
mean, if
judgment
there's something
when I say
wrong with
growth.
your partner, you
Because I
actually
think a lot
tell
of people
them
think,
first so they can
oh, well,
fix
I'm
it.
going to point
You
out all my
know?
partner's flaws so that they can grow. And I look, I'm
Yeah,
healthy
yeah,
and
that's
I'm
the
like,
exact thing. You
no,
put
that-
flaws
you
to
know,
grow.
Roddy's never done that to me, and I think that's one of the reasons.
Well, that's
why
not good. I mean, Roddy, you have to
we have
change
a healthy
that.
relationship because we both don't do that.
That is not
We
a healthy
feel like
relationship.
we're
And
guiding
you are
and
going
coaching
getting
each other
divorced then.
on things we both opt in.
That is
to
absolutely not
work
true.
on.
I mean,
What would you say?
you have to fix Jay Shetty, nice lady. Fix her.
Basic stances towards each other. Well, how would you describe it?
Oh my God, this is not about me, Jay. This is about you. You guys are getting divorced. I mean, so this is why you guys are getting divorced. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's not that July 8th, 2025. I just doesn't know, but you know, right? Psychology, you know. I see that Bucker. You know, they are getting divorced. So we have to fix Jay and Roddy. Jesus Christ, it's not me. It's them. Holy fuck. I'm trying to save your marriage, Jay. Jesus Christ. Holy fuck.
She has a deep sense of
Okay.
respect.
Marriage therapy for Jay Shetty. Because I thought this was about me saving Alexis and Andrews. Really? No, it's Jay and Roddy. They are getting divorced now. Because what he's saying is not a healthy marriage.
Through a friend who said something.
That
to
is
me,
absolutely not a pure marriage.
She trusts me deeply. She has a very positive feeling towards me as a human.
That's what you think she has.
That's amazing.
That's what you think she said. That's not actually true. I can see Roddy's face. That is not actually true.
What you're describing, what you're, it's like the.
She has something that she's not telling you. Roddy has something that she's not telling you. She's unhappy. Roddy is unhappy. So
Like when you were asking earlier,
she's
like,
shaking her head, but she's
will not make it. I mean, that's
she's
that's
I
what you
mean,
want. You want
there's
the
things that she's
couple
not telling you.
create
So
that kind of space.
Jay, you actually have to have a
If you're
little
creating the
introspective.
world in which
Yeah.
you're living.
How do you?
Your marriage is in
do
trouble.
that when they're saying to you, you know,
But he,
well,
but he, but he.
I know, right?
when
And because you're not blind spots. Andrew has the exact same thing. I know why.
I know he means well, but he just, you know, all he does is watch football all weekend, and like he always forgets my birthday, and you know, it's just like it's.
Well, Andrew doesn't have Alexis' phone number, so it's like you
You know, I
can't do
don't
that.
even think he never wants to talk about his feelings. Like, if
Oh, but that is actually true. I just didn't want to talk about my feelings, but now I want to talk
How
about
do
it.
you
How do I feel right now?
heal that?
I feel
Well, hopefully,
betrayed.
You
But
know, to
anyway.
have that kind of stance that you
Right.
described so beautifully, like that you each kind of provide for each other. First of all,
Yeah.
you have to have that capacity inside you,
Jay
right?
needs to, yeah.
Meaning it speaks to some way that you come into the relationship with a capacity to love, right? Like a capacity to experience those kind of feelings towards
Feelings of all
another
absolute love.
person. And then, which is great, and I believe
Yeah.
most
I mean,
of us have that.
because it's really difficult to find out, because in relationship therapy, you actually have both of them in the
It's
sort
just
of
now how you create the
but
conditions where that is the
well,
thing.
first, you don't even know your marriage is in
And
trouble before
couples come
then
into
start over.
treatment,
You know, start,
basically,
yeah,
I often
that is absolutely the thing.
joke about the fact that
Well, we caught it earlier.
couples come in basically saying, "Doctor, can you change my partner?"
You can't.
That's like
That's the fundamental rule of psychology.
couples come into my office.
People change
"Can you
themselves.
just change my partner, everything
People
will be
change
okay if you just change her."
People change themselves.
But when you
Even in regular psychology, people
get
change
people
themselves.
less invested in what we were saying earlier, like the blame, and
Yeah.
he did this, she did that.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Andrew doesn't really blame Alexis, and
Back
I
in
blame her
this
friends for
feeling
teaching her
of
bullshit, which includes you. But it's not really your
Look at
fault, right? Because
them.
who the hell
Look at
would have
them.
known the consequences except for
They're
Andrew
just
explaining to you? So.
wonderful
And now I
in
can't,
some
because I
elemental way,
am
in some
afraid
way
of
that
what
I
you don't
know.
understand,
I know
what
their
is in the
goodness.
past. But I can teach you in the future.
Remember that feeling, like approach
So-
them from that place.
But the damage of the past is already done,
For
so
that person
we just
to
have to
thrive.
forgiveness.
Right? When your wife looks at you with adoration, that's when your best self will come out.
Yeah,
When
but
your
that's the
wife
thing.
looks
Think
at
about
you
her.
like, ugh, fucked up again.
Why do you need
You're
adoration,
like,
right?
I don't
Praise.
care anymore. I'm
Proud,
gonna
right?
go play video games. Like, who needs that?
I know she mentioned that once in her
By the way
podcast,
you're looking at
playing
your partner,
PlayStation.
you're inviting certain parts of themselves out. And I remind
So
people
Radhi
that
Radhi
we
admires her,
respond to each other.
right?
We respond to the gaze, to the music we're sending each other,
And that is,
it invites
worship,
different
basically.
parts of us out.
What about when someone
Yeah, I
feels
mean, getting
I've
worship,
given them
right?
too many chances, I've given them that lens for too long,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just not shifting. But they've not done anything terrible where I need to leave them. But they're also not making any progress on this path, and I kept looking at them with a loving lens, with a compassionate lens, but I just keep running out of patience.
In that case, I would need
That is
to
the
hear
thing
from
too.
the partner what's going on.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some people. I mean, is the partner depressed? I don't know what's going
Well,
on.
Andrew's
there.
depressed.
Like, if really
Change, right? The
a
grace
lot
of
is-
change.
is being offered, and the partner can't pick up on those nutrients, what's going on?
It's
Are they maybe they're going through something? Maybe
yeah,
they're
overwhelmed.
maybe
Because
there's
Andrew's
something
holding the
completely
world
different
together
going
in the
on
future and
there,
trying
some
to
kind of grudge
understand
or
what
something
Alexis
that
wanted
they
and what
haven't
Alexis
had a
did.
chance to
And so
really
that's about Alexis, not
articulate.
about your magic.
I mean, that would be
But,
interesting for me if that happens. That's not the typical thing that happens between people.
People changing,
I mean,
right?
typically, if you put good out, good will come back.
Yeah.
And I like that.
That's the thing. Does Alexis have the capacity to change? Because she probably thinks there's nothing wrong, right? Everybody thinks there's nothing. Andrew knows that there's something wrong, so about myself. The thing with Andrew wrong with it, Andrew is absolutely cold-hearted about. Andrew's absolutely cold-hearted about killing people, by the way. Bad people. But it's still a thing.
It starts
Extinguishing human life, killing humans, is not exactly something you should
childhood.
not feel
But
anything
it
about,
starts
right?
with the way whoever raised you looked at
Yeah.
you. Like, what was the?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be.
There's
the
something
mother,
wrong with
but
Andrew,
what
by
was
the way. I mean,
look in
the
your mother's
betrayal
eye
that I felt
when
from
she saw
Jay
you?
and Radhi
Did the
and
mother's
Alexis and Ali,
eyes
the betrayal,
ultimately sparkle
absolutely changed Andrew. I mean, I am even Naja felt the betrayal. That betrayal is scarred me for life. Right? You saw that. I see that week. It's betrayal.
Or not,
Andrew feels betrayed.
that stays with us.
It's like I'm this savior. I literally saved Los Angeles. I literally saved Los Angeles, and I saved the world so many times from nuclear weapons. I just saved the world so many times. And what the fuck does people do? I'm like, oh, who is my wife? Right? Who is Andrew's one true love? And I finally find her. And do people help Andrew? Did people help Andrew? Right?
Maybe
Betrayal. Right?
am I ready to let
Sorry.
someone else in
Yeah.
with
Why?
their otherness, with the
Ah.
challenge to my narcissism? Am
Well,
I ready for that?
That you call it as narcissism, though Andrew saved the world so many times. But did you watch? You haven't watched my videos about with Winston Churchill, right? Andrew saw the documentary Winston Churchill, and Andrew actually helped Winston Churchill become part of the prime minister. It's not narcissism when it's true. it's not narcissism when it's true.
And even
But
if
literally,
my wedding
savior
day,
of the planet.
right now,
Savior of the planet.
chances that they're gonna go through stuff.
I mean, that's the
Being
thing.
honest with myself, because I think sometimes we feel guilty.
I mean,
I know a lot of people.
Andrew, you're absolutely right. I have to accept that Alexis,
Like they
his
said,
brain has been, affected by all your stuff you've been teaching her.
would have stayed in
And
the
still
back.
accept her as who she
I don't
is
think I
now.
can for what he has to go through and grow through. You know, he's
I have to.
ambitious, he needs to figure out his career,
Mm.
he's struggling with his mental health. Like, I don't know if I want to be the person to go through with it.
Right,
Ooh.
although I would also say in that case, you're not ready and
I'm not in a relationship with you, Jay. But anyway, the problem isn't you because if you just cut off your relationship with Alexis, you would not need to hear any
you
of
want to
this.
feel like your relationship is your home, not the future home you're going to have if you change.
Yeah, that's the thing.
There's a certain level of acceptance that has to happen. Of course, we want to change and get
So-
better
so
and grow with each other, but
You're not thinking because she doesn't really
be in a
understand the concept
conditional
of the
relationship.
future, the past, and the future.
I'm going to love you when you change.
I mean, love you when you change, right? That's the
When
thing.
you
That
change. That's not.
you change when
Could be
you
that
fall in
easy.
love, and that is the thing
Yeah,
she does not
that's-
understand. Jay did not understand
not
too
gonna
because
I literally
you
feel
you
like we
change
find
when you
someone
fall in
we
love,
find
basically,
attractive,
because different people in
and
the
that
past.
we enjoy our time
The-
with,
Mhm.
and then
I
we
mean,
want to change
the
everything
past
else
depends
about
on the
it.
future. So
that's
the moment you
literally
fall in
because
love,
you meet people
the
who,
change
like, they'll
becomes
find the person
automatic,
who actually has everything set up for the future.
and that is
but we're
the
not
understanding
attracted
that
to
you
them, we
can
don't like hanging
understand.
out with them.
Mhm.
And so we're like, oh, I can't be with you. Obviously.
Because think about it, Jay,
You know,
right? If I the moment I
we're like,
trust
oh, yeah,
you
you're my
in the
person.
future,
I
I will
trust
be
you.
able to
We
trust
go
you in the
hanging out and
past.
having drinks, and we have good
And
banter,
that's
and
what
we
you
get
did
to
not
be
understand when you
smart,
were doing Alexis
verbally,
reality.
Yeah.
and
That you were making
you must be the
decisions
perfect person for me, even
to
though I don't
on
know
your
anything about
past.
your.
Because literally,
Well,
that's
you're
the
not
thing.
ambitious, you don't have a good career, you don't make it. I'm like all the stuff
my
that we
God.
think
That
is important.
doesn't really matter. You still don't really understand it matters, right? Think about it real hard. Because I can tell people stock prices in the future. At the moment I fall in love with Alexis, we don't need money anymore. You're thinking we don't have a career, we don't have to. You have infinite money, and I do have a career. And what the hell do you think I've been doing with the world? My career, even though it's not getting paid money, is master of the planet.
You're just in your gut. You're
Emperor of planet Earth, basically. Wink, right? I shape the world. Andrew shapes the world, and it's like
that one person
Yeah.
you keep going back to because there's something there. Then
Yeah, why do I go back to
the
Alexis?
preoccupation with wanting to change
Other than the
that
paradox.
partner is typically
Other than the
some way
paradox,
that
I
you're
mean,
working through
there is something
deeply
inside her
in
soul that
yourself.
I'm attracted to. So,
Ultimately,
and I don't know.
mean,
I don't know what it is.
people
Right?
talk about ambition or it's like it's not about that. Like why do you
Ambition,
need to
money.
be so
What is it?
ambitious?
How
You
many?
go for
You
ambitious,
have
you
100
want
years in
ambition.
life, and then you have
It's
money.
usually you're working through something. There was a couple on the show
That is not.
that were
I mean,
a great
theories.
example of that.
My career is making sure India and Pakistan doesn't nuke each other, America and Russia doesn't nuke each other.
Really
That's my
intense complaints
career.
about her husband that he's not ambitious, and
Anyway.
ultimately we learned that
Yeah.
a lot of it had to do with like her mom and father, like a repeat of some kind of old story that never got resolved between her parents.
Oh, Alexis'
She was
parents,
totally
yeah.
working it out through her husband. And once she got focused on the parents and on her early history, she was suddenly back to like the best friendship in the world with her husband. They were just like so adorable together. It's often something else that creates this kind
That's
of.
interesting.
You
That's
gotta
definitely
change
that's
for
almost
me.
about Alexis. So
Yeah, because it reminds us of something.
Anyway,
It reminds us of something that we haven't resolved, or
that's
that
the thing,
parents
Jay.
haven't resolved,
Because Alexis
or-
says that Jay, you are a
It could
friend,
be
and the reason I have to talk to you about this because
I don't know if we want
because
to
of
get into that, but it
Alexis.
could be like
If
something
y'all
like
just
political
never had
that
contact with
doesn't
Alexis in the
resolve.
future ever,
I'll just
then I would
say
never
in
need to
general
talk to you ever
that
again. Because
couldn't
you would not be able to
resolve a certain
affect
issue of passports
affect
between them.
Alexis. Like if Alexis
That
never watched one of
had
these
to do
podcasts ever,
with
right?
one of them being Palestinian and like not having like statehood,
Ah.
and fight with their partner
Yeah.
about passports, but it had nothing to do with the partner. It didn't even have to do with their own families.
Yeah.
It had to do with Palestinian identity. All sorts of things make their
That is
way
so-
into what seems like an issue between the partners that come from really other places.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
So I'm when
That is
people
actually
start
true.
like blaming their partner for stuff, for me it's like a riddle.
Well, I mean, it's not Alexis'
What
fault.
is
It's
this really about?
I mean, how do I teach Alexis?
If we reflect on it ourselves too.
I mean, the stuff that I'm teaching you,
Yeah.
right? Because this nice lady whose name I don't, I will
Are
learn.
women more prone to be the fixers?
First of all, I think things are changing as far as gender, so it's a little hard to make real statements about like women and men.
Yeah.
But if I had to kind of say something general, I'd say women are
Feminine energy.
they're
Let's talk about
raised to
feminine
be
energy.
more kind of tuned into the ins and out of a relationship and kind of take care of the relationship in a certain way in terms of like talking more, bringing feelings to the table, and men are more tuned into like the fame around the relationship and a certain kind of loyalty over time. They add a certain rudder to the relationship. So it's different ways of tending to the relationship. But even that, it changes a lot, and of course, it looks very different in queer relationships.
Absolutely.
That's kind of my
I thought about that, you know.
about women and men.
That's in the book.
How have you helped?
Because Alexis knows that once upon a time I actually felt I let a woman go because she was a lesbian. So she thinks that if she finds a girlfriend, possibly Alexis, right, and they say that she's a lesbian, then I would actually just let her go and then not bother her anymore. Then she can actually marry whichever man she wants to marry.
Anti-training, right? Men are. I mean, again, it's different nowadays, but typically.
But the consequences are severe because I still. Basically, Alexis captured me in 2012, and I have no freedom
power,
to.
Protection.
Yeah.
I mean, important.
Basically, Alexis captured me in 2012, and Ellie Michelle might have been able to fulfill that prophecy in 2012, but she failed. Because I was in love with Ellie Michelle, Jay, and they absolutely did not return my memories in 2012, so it has to be Alexis. So.
In my work with men.
I mean, what are the consequences of losing that 2012 timeline? It's like. I would no longer know that my own past was erasable.
Pay attention to small hints about their emotional world, and they're always there. A stomach ache, a tightness in the chest, a habit that is not good for them.
Smoking, possibly, right?
Follow those beginning hints and clues, and try to get curious about what else can they tell me about their emotions.
Yeah.
And when they start getting in touch with feelings, usually it's very gratifying. It's good to get.
Yeah, because Andrew can't read minds, and
it feels good. You feel more grounded. You're
what does Alexis actually
richer.
want? And how much Alexis wants understanding?
So it's really starting from the little clues and developing.
Because the very first thing I wanted to do when I met Alexis, when we said we are worried, I wanted to teach her how to change time, and she actually asked me how. Because you remember when you talked to Alexis, the very first thing she said, "You must have seen that show, The Enforcer," and I said, "No, I haven't." And then she laid her back and laughed. And you understand why she laughed, right? And what was her answer? Do you remember her answer?
70 words.
Just the intention to change the timeline will change the timeline, Jay. Just the intention to change the timeline will change the timeline. And I thought she was my wife because she was the first woman to understand that. Just the intention to change the timeline will change the timeline. Because the time will change by just wanting to change the timeline. And I thought Alexis understood that, and that I think that means there was the very first time I talked to Alexis and you, Jay, she was actually my wife, future wife anyway. But we did something in the future, in our collective future, and erased that Alexis, because otherwise that Alexis would have absolutely known about time and the consequences of altering the timeline. There is no reason to alter the timeline.
Slow process.
Yeah.
We spend like several times a week.
It's erasing yourself for something.
Like,
I mean,
slowly attending to things.
I mean, there's no good reason. I mean, I think you did not understand, Jay, and you might have done something to change all of us, and then I don't know.
they suddenly remember, oh, this is
Might not necessarily, because it could have been just Jay changing the preview of the YouTube. Because for me, the video looked like it was different because the preview was different. But you can alter the preview of a video after, right? You can save a preview. So it might have just been Jay altering the preview of that video, making me think that was a different video. There wasn't one. Because I was looking at the video, and the video preview was different than the other one for the YouTube video. You're supposed to only have one, so.
And then it feels good, and things really
So that's what that could have been
it's
one.
just having the experience.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I want to focus on a different life cycle population.
Because if the title of the YouTube video changes and the preview of the YouTube video, I would assume it's a different video, but it might not have been. Jay Shady could have been altering them, so and making me think that the timeline has changing. And if you made me think that the timeline changing, it would have has an effect too. Even that has an effect.
So much is unconscious.
And that is something he
Years later,
shouldn't have
you
done.
won't be able to analyze why you really like this person or
Yeah.
what went wrong. So it's
I know. I
hard to make
mean,
people
do I even like this Alexis in this
really
one? I don't know. She's
aware
absolutely
of
beautiful, but she is
what's
not
moving
my
them.
Alexis anymore,
I would
right?
say
So you all changed this Alexis to a different Alexis, and I meant different
that
Andrew,
is
Jay.
telling
That is
them
the thing that you
things.
that's
it
the
might be
sin
telling
that
you
may not
important
be.
things about yourself, about your own
I am a
history.
different
It
Andrew
might be telling you to
because
keep
of this
repeating the same
timeline.
mistakes. Or it might
Are
be
we going to
telling you
repeat the
something
same
you
mistakes,
really
Jay?
was listening
Right?
to about
Because
the other
I'm
person that
guessing
is
we've
good.
done this
Don't be
before.
afraid.
Either a different
So,
woman
listen to your
or a
gut.
different Alexis in the
And also
past.
say, listen to
And,
what the other person is telling
Yeah.
you.
Listen to what Andrew's telling you.
People often disclose a lot about themselves
No.
right at the beginning, and we often don't listen.
Yeah, Andrew probably
That
didn't
from
listen.
when patients come into my practice, and I'm
Yeah,
having first
I mean,
sessions
the
with
very,
people,
it's
often
almost
people
the second or
tell
third
everything
YouTube
right
yeah,
at
I've
the
seen my
beginning,
lesson.
even
And
in the way
she said,
they-
just the intention to
they're
change
like
something would change something.
late to a session,
And
the way they
I
explain
thought,
it, they might
if
tell
that
you
was 3
a
years
lot
ago in
about
2021,
their whole
that meant
life
she
history,
understood
just
time in
the very
2021.
beginning. So listen.
So
don't
how,
ignore
right?
information
So
that's right
I
in front
thought
of you.
she must have been the very first woman that
Hillary was
met
actually telling me
that understood time.
a friend of
Just the
hers,
intention to change the timeline will change the timeline. Because I never really changed the timeline. I just find a world that's different, Jay.
on their first date,
I just
told
find a
her,
world that's different than the
"I have
one
a
I remember.
suitcase of
And not just
unpaid
ending
bills under my
her,
bed."
so not just
And she thought it's funny.
anyway. And not the stupid shit that not just gonna do is
Of
gonna
course,
contribute to
only later,
so.
later to find out. I mean,
Anyway,
this
you gotta do
person
some
was
stupid
like
shit now, just so that's
a
okay.
mess.
It's absolutely okay.
Funny on the
It
first
sounded
date.
Anyway.
funny, but they're
Good job.
telling you
She's done.
real information. So listen.
I am telling you,
Listen.
I'm telling you real shit now. I mean, just the intention to change
Listen
time
is
will change time,
generally a
basically.
good,
So.
a good piece of advice.
That Alexis knew in the first podcast she was with you.
Bad relationship.
So I don't know if I erased that moment
Are
already
there certain
though.
things to expect, or is that too general?
Because Alexis
First of
knew,
all,
but then
that's
Jay didn't know. I mean, she didn't tell
Interesting
Alexis.
piece of information talking about listening. I would immediately get curious. Like, what is the person telling me?
Yeah, what
Is
I'm
the
telling
person
you is
telling
that
me
we done
something
this
about
already, Jay, and another time you don't
early
probably
trauma?
remember. So
And,
that's what I'm trying to tell you.
I'd want to
And
know
I
what
don't
happened,
remember it probably.
and how did this person? What is? it
That's why
mean
the
to
pandemic
have a
happened,
good
because in
relationship
another
with a parent
timeline that
after
we had
trauma.
this almost the same
So I'd
exact
wanna know
conversation,
what happened,
and we just made the wrong
Um,
decision with Alexis and Andrew.
is
We just let
the
it go.
person
We don't
you're
get fall in love,
getting to
right?
know,
Bye bye,
Are
planet Earth.
they like? Did something
Rapture.
bad happen to them with their family of origin, and
Yeah,
they have
it might
developed
not
a
be
certain
changed
kind of
because my mother
wisdom where
says
they know how to separate themselves.
yeah, my mother
from-
says that she
from
visited
earlier
her
traumatic
brother.
experiences or
so I
not
cannot
good
tell.
experiences, and they've kind of formed their own personhood in a way that you
I
can
cannot tell
trust.
if my birth is different. So
Or is this? I mean,
my childhood
the other
is
end of
different
things
now,
is
so I cannot
someone-
tell. So
in a way, stuck in something that they kind of.
because I remember looking through my childhood pictures and seeing some
work their
pictures of
way
things
out
that I don't
and
remember
they're
happening.
Forever stuck in
So
a
I was
certain
like, okay,
old
what the fuck
pattern
was this?
that they really need to be doing
So-
the work to move out of.
Yeah, I
So,
remember
you know,
looking at my childhood baby
the
pictures
two
and I was
extremes,
like, well, I don't
like,
remember this
one
happening. I don't remember
is,
this happening.
I've had
So my
like
childhood
something
is a little
bad
different,
happen to
and I
me,
do not
this was
have
not
memories of
good,
that
and
different childhood. So
I've just
I am
worked my
missing
way out of
some of
it,
my
and
past
I'm
basics still
separate
from the
this
timeline
family
changes.
of origin, or on the other
So-
extreme is yeah, I hold a grudge and I'm forever begrudging
Well, I mean,
his parents, and really,
I'm fine.
I'm gonna be
I'm not
reviewing
really
that in this relationship too, because
what would be the point? I mean,
this is my life.
I was angry for a little
grudge.
while, but what would be the point? I mean,
because it seems
if we get erased, we're not going to remember any of this. None of us will remember any of this. So pretty eyes wide around.
3 types of healing. Like that person needs to heal, you need to heal, and then you need to heal together.
Right.
And you need to make space for them to heal. They need to
Alexis needs to heal from the, because she must know she crashed the plane basically.
So much healing required.
If Alexis wanted a boyfriend, that boyfriend basically crashed the whole plane, killed the whole plane full of people, and then there were a bunch of children on the plane, you know.
Again, I'm not
killing a whole plane full of people. I mean, Roddy's shaking her head. I mean, she has to heal from that guilt, that shame and guilt that she needs to do for wanting to love another man other than Andrew, and it's like,
you know, it's like things are great, and then you have
so she actually has to heal from that pain. Because eventually she will understand that, you know, if she loved the pain she caused from loving another man other than Andrew, the pain she caused, you know. And the pain Andrew caused too, because Andrew was loving Alan Michelle, Andrew was loving Diana. Andrew's 50% responsible. It's both of us. Alexis loving another man, Andrew loving another woman. It's both of us responsible for this.
I mean, life is a challenge. I mean, death is embedded in life. I mean, life is full of difficulties. There's always loss. There's always
love is
challenge.
pleasurable. Being in love is pleasurable.
Stuff of life, and I welcome that.
Yeah.
That's what life is about.
But that's the thing. I mean,
strong enough? How do you prepare?
How do you prepare to be that person that saves the world? You know, I mean,
how do you know you're in a strong, healthy relationship? Because I think up until now, the only marker we've had, which I don't.
Honesty. It's still the honesty. Absolutely honesty. I mean, the only reason I'm not telling you Alexis is because I don't want to waste videos with Alexis telling you. Others would tell me honestly. I would tell. I post this on the internet, so YouTube and X. I mean, if they watch, she has. If she wants to watch, she can watch.
We don't have a bigger grading exercise. We do length.
Thoughtful disagreement. Thoughtful disagreement. Ray Darling says thoughtful disagreement. Absolutely honesty is absolutely good.
We use not arguing or like they have.
That is not arguing, because when you're not arguing, you are lying through your butt. The nice lady is that when you're not arguing, you are lying through your ass. I mean, Roddy, when you have absolutely no arguments, that means you are. If you have no disagreements at all, right? That is a relationship based on lies.
First of all, I would say that kind
every
of
relationship has
earlier,
disagreements,
that kind of
right?
Stance, when you spend time with
honestly,
a couple,
you are not in a healthy relationship. You do
couple,
not disagree about something. You absolutely have.
There's a way.
It's not about not disagreeing. It's about talking through the disagreement and finding out what is the best truth.
Of a certain kind of
using reason,
respect, admiration, a certain kind of acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
That is
it's
a
honesty.
Good relationship. That is a good world to live in. They've created a world.
Oh yeah, Roddy's always got some
space for them to thrive.
Roddy can watch this on X
if she wants. Is it the music of a relationship? Is it a music of like a mutual?
Roddy's thingy is gone.
Adoration, or is it a music of gotcha? This is where you failed. This is where you messed up.
Well, that's the thing.
I would say if a couple.
It wouldn't be Alexis, I think. I told her to love whoever she wants to love in secret. I didn't tell her. That's Andrew's fault. Because I didn't tell her I didn't tell Alexis the consequences of loving someone.
Changes and evolutions. That's a really good quality of the relationship. That it's.
How much time you have? Just you now.
Under pressure, but it changes under pressure.
Oh man, you still have 30 minutes.
Very strong quality. I mean, couples that don't argue scare me.
Yeah, exactly.
What happens there? Do they just not talk?
Yeah, do they
not reveal ways in which they're different, or?
Yeah, exactly right. Nice. I mean, I need to learn your name. You absolutely couples that don't argue.
Like how do you not never argue? Like
exactly.
Are you just the same person? Have you become like enmeshed with each other, and everything about you that is different you just repress?
Yeah, I know, right?
Are you so afraid of conflict? Are you
exactly?
Where are you each? Have you vanished?
Yeah, I mean, every single disagreement. Andrew's a Republican and Alexis is a Democrat, and so That is a disagreement.
Face differences, and back to what we were talking about earlier, find how have you faced your differences? How do you work through your differences? Is what's interesting about a relationship.
Yeah, well, that's one of the main differences, Andrew. And then,
but can I ask you, what would you say?
I want to hear you, man. It's just you and Jay. That's the thing. I mean, I appreciate your answer is a lie.
I've not heard those.
That is a lie. I mean, I didn't watch your body fight, but
I think one where.
Because that's the thing. I appreciate your answer.
The
It's
other person to value
diplomatic answer.
That they allow the other person have their values and they have their own.
Mm-hmm.
And both people respect each other's values, but they don't want the other person to believe as strongly about theirs as they do the others.
Yeah.
Because I just think that that's pretty difficult if you're honest.
Yeah.
It's easy if you're living at a surface level and a superficial level to be like, oh, we both value family. It's like, well, you don't really. Like, maybe it's second on your list, but first on your list is your career. Let's just be honest.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, but let's be honest about it. And hey, for family,
that's an interesting thing to say, Jay. When you say "let's be honest about it," when he just lied.
Let's get really honest about that.
And I know why. Because you interview Hollywood people, you cannot say anything racist, right? You cannot say anything that would get you canceled.
That's what I think honesty is. I don't think honesty is.
You're shaking your head. You can never say anything racist, Jay, or get canceled, and that is the fear that you internalize. That lying, he internalized lying.
Believe it, and you're okay with it.
Yeah.
He internalized lying.
Of course, when that changes, it can be hard.
He has internalized because you can never say anything that would get you canceled, Jay, right? But Andrew doesn't give a shit. Andrew is absolutely honest. I don't give a rat's ass. Andrew will actually say truth.
But I think a strong and healthy relationship is where you are okay with most changes and you're able to flow, rather than saying, well, you're not the same person. You're
never the same person. I mean, you still grow. So
together for 10 years. And so I think a healthy relationship is one that allows for different iterations of each other.
Yeah, I talked to Alexis about 10 years ago.
And rather than trying to hold on to the person you had on your wedding day, you're open to the idea that they're actually going to be different every day and every day.
That's the thing, and you basically have to understand with Andrew, you could be a different person in the past, basically.
You have other people in your life, you have friends, you have family.
Anything you do to, and that's the thing.
People you can turn to.
Because basically, Jay probably already did that. I mean, made a different Andrew in the past. The man Andrew is the person in this moment. In his present is affected in the past by Jay and what Alexis did and Ellie did. It's exactly the same as the regular person, right? Regular people change in the future. With Andrew, we change in the past, and that's what I was trying to change. And then Jay's still shaking his head. If you do something, we'll actually change in the past. And you're growing in the past too. So you're still shaking your head, and it's like, well, see, if you cannot detect changes in the timeline, Jay, you would not know that you're actually different in the past.
I can ask you. I'm just curious what you think.
Because I've actually observed you just behaving completely different based on something,
I'll ask you too.
Because and it just feels like we say something in the future and then you are different in the past, Jay. So, and this nice lady is absolutely so smart. She's understanding what I'm trying to tell you. Because normal people grow in the future. With Andrew,
believed I was lovable, and that I feel that in my core.
Ah.
And so giving love for me feels very easy because I feel like I was showered in it since I was a kid. And when I say love,
why would you shake your head when you're saying that?
I don't mean stuff. I don't mean.
The lady just saw it. I mean, you saw it too, right? Because you were thinking, why are you shaking your head and saying that?
Early trauma that I did experience, but didn't.
Andrew has trauma too.
And so I feel very lucky. So I feel like I could love the whole world and never run out.
Did you see him shaking his head when he says that, right? You know what the micro expression means. Jay has a really bad problem with lying to himself, basically.
So that's why you.
There we go. You saw it. Oh my god. I mean, Andrew's not a psychologist, but I can see you have a gigantic problem with lying to yourself, Jay. So. Anyway, you'll fix it because the first step to fix anything you want to change and learn why you're lying to yourself, Jay. So,
but
And part of it is you can't say anything you want, you know, because you're interviewing a celebrity, you can't say, "I hate black people." You can't use the N-word. The moment you do that, you get canceled, you lose your livelihood, right? So you have to catch yourself saying things that you don't you thinking, because you're thinking something and then you say something different from it, and that causes a cognitive dissonance. It's a lie. It fractures your psyche. When you can't say what you truly believe, Jay, because you're afraid.
At certain times,
it fractures your
be
psyche.
potentially the savior of the relationship.
Anyway.
When we're thinking, well, they should be doing it too.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew says whatever's on his mind. Because I just accused you of being a liar, and that's on my mind. It's for your own good, basically. So.
But you may carry me for the next 2.
Yeah.
And I don't want to live in a world where we're counting every day whether everything is 50-50.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it works that way. And my wife was,
that is actually a good, because you don't want to wear, you're negating something you don't want. That is not a lie.
She was away from her family.
Yeah.
And she never once complained to me. She missed her family a lot. And she told me she missed them. And
oh man, the nice lady is absolutely right. This is for him, because you're not even, I see this.
From her family.
Holy shit.
And so I know she tolerated a lot. And at the same time, all I wanted was for her to be with her family, because I knew how much that meant to her.
Yeah.
And I would say that in those early years, she was so patient and so tolerant that we moved here for my work and my mission and my purpose. And I was living my dream. But a part of my dream was also seeing her happy, so my dream wasn't complete either.
Right.
But I think the point is, she carried me those years because she
I'm gonna just because
weight.
Sorry, I mean,
she could have,
your name must be Dr. Orna.
Even though she was honest about how she felt, but it wasn't like it was my fault. It didn't feel projected.
Orna, Dr. Orna. I mean, would you prefer
such an evolution in the
first name or last name? Because
her role in our life has changed. Her career has taken off. Purpose is.
Because in a lot of times women, I will absolutely remember the doctor part. I mean,
well, she's been finding herself.
Because women deserve to be called that. Do you prefer first name? I don't know, right?
So if she was like,
Dr. Orna,
looking at it in the early days, it's like, I moved for you, I did all this for you, what are you doing for me? You're just living your dream.
Yeah.
If she said that to me, I don't know if we would have survived.
Right.
And then
that is the problem.
To give her space to.
Oh my God, Jay.
If she would have left me before for all those reasons or whatever, then she may not have found
Jesus Christ.
And I wasn't doing it because she did it for me.
Jesus fucking Christ. Now I know what.
And I think that's what it is.
This is the man giving your life to Alexis. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
I don't know if we would have survived. Oh my God. Now this is why Andrew and Alexis in relationship with Trump, because this was the man giving your life to Jesus fucking Christ. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Did you just hear what you said? I don't know if we would have survived.
From my family of origin, like again, is it
Therapize
the
him.
sense of like
Jesus Christ.
They didn't do enough for me, grudge, or is it a stance of I'm taking responsibility for myself?
Yeah, you have to take responsibility for your neglect of your wife. You have to apologize to Radhi, basically. That I'm so sorry that I didn't do better.
Or the blame game.
Or the blame game. I was going to ask you about some more of those things.
I mean, basically, I mean,
you
have to accept.
Gaslighting in the office. Is it
you have to accept. You have to, Jay. You have to accept that your past was deficient, and forgive yourself.
Gaslighting.
Gaslighting is saying reality is different than something else.
Triggers,
right?
trauma. Love bombing, yeah, recently.
I don't know what love bombing is. I mean, what's love bombing?
What are your reactions to this
what's
word?
love
so
bombing?
When I say the word bombing.
What is love bombing? I don't know. I don't know what love bombing is.
My instant thoughts are
excessive. Oh, they're good. You really love somebody, and then I didn't know that.
I came in with a different vocabulary.
And
I typically ask people
to. Okay.
Or there's another one.
That's what narcissism did. Love bombing is for narcissism. You love someone really much, and you love. I mean, Andrew still kind of loves Alexis, but feel betrayed. You know, I would be really loving Alexis, because when I met Alexis and when I found out, anyway.
You mean I don't know what you mean.
Because I thought I finally found the one woman I was always supposed to love. So anyway.
They have a feeling about something, but they don't exactly know what that something is. So they grab a word, I guess, from TikTok that kind of supposedly captures it, and then they're done thinking.
Yeah.
They stop investigating themselves, or they stop really, they're just like, aha, I found the culprit, gaslighting. That's what's happening to me. I don't have to think about it anymore.
I know, because Jay's
You
saying
know,
that Andrew's
it's usually
gaslighting him when he's saying that
Yeah,
timeline is
it's usually
changing.
a lot more
Because that's
complicated
what
than,
you said. Cause
I
I
found
haven't seen the
evidence
movie,
of
by the
this
way.
bad.
Yeah, it's
Because
also
if you tell
really
people
kind
that
of
reality
work.
is not what
But
you think it
actually,
is,
He's a narcissist. He's a narcissist.
exactly
He's
right.
gaslighting me.
So I
Right?
feel like
I'm
the
not. I'm
world
trying
is-
to tell you the
everyone
reality of
feels
the
like they're
world.
dated a narcissist.
Because gaslighting by definition, you say reality is different than what other people say.
100%
So,
accurate, because we all
but
have
I don't
parts
think.
of ourselves that are
Yeah.
narcissistically oriented, meaning they're to protect our sense of self.
Yeah.
Some people move more to the extreme, and
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
really,
seriously.
deeply wounded and have to spend a lot of energy protecting themselves and
Yeah, exactly.
working around their ego. But most of us
Yeah, I mean,
in
the thing
certain
is,
situations were provoked to behave in more narcissistic
Oh my God, you
ways,
mean-
and when we're
Did you
offered
notice
other
what
conditions,
Jay just
we can
did?
be
Rather than to
more
deal with
open
what
and
he just
interested in the
did,
world.
he just started a different
It's
topic.
usually
It's
the way it's used in
this is called red herring, I
language.
think.
It's usually just like a word that covers up a whole
Yeah.
other world. of
Gaslighting.
things.
There you go. The
people
red
talk
herring
about
is misleads or
identity
distract a
narcissists,
relevant
they're
important
like,
question. Logical fallacy. Yeah.
that person
Kind of
needs
like a red
more
herring. I know.
attention.
Somebody just taught me this a few days ago. That's why. Because he wanted to avoid
What's
that
that
original
about
thing.
that? There could be so
I don't know if we
much
would have
there.
survived. He
What
didn't want to
happened
talk about
between
that
the two
one.
of you?
Roddy's not
What
listening. And there's no
happened?
Roddy. I mean,
Where were
this
you
is just
in
you.
that?
But I'm still and he just
doesn't
said
tell you much.
gaslighting. So
I'm so happy to hear that. Because
so
I do
he
think
doesn't know what he just
what is
did, but it's a
relief.
defense
You know
mechanism,
that's
does he?
wrong.
Unless I just don't, because I'm honest as fuck. A therapist would not tell somebody because it would be wounding.
Categorize, summarize.
You would never go back to that
Mm-hmm.
therapist ever
But
again
don't
for that. But Andrew
feel that that's the
tells
end of
truth.
the investigation. Like there's so much more.
I mean, Andrew
and
said,
you're actually doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, and the moment
because
you're
a
thinking
therapist
about,
would never turn
I
that
found
down.
a word that finds
Because you're not
all
his
the
therapist,
problem
you know.
outside of me.
It's not your
You're
responsibility to
deluding
fix
yourself.
Jay,
When
right?
you find couples
It is
struggling
Jay's
with
responsibility to
financial issues,
realize that he needs help.
Is it really
And
about
that is what Andrew's
Money's a
doing.
big issue for people. Money's a big issue for people.
Yeah.
You know, the question
It is
of
Jay's
money,
responsibility to
one
know
of the
that he
questions
needs
that
help. I mean,
people-
Andrew is
couples
actually getting
deal
Jay
with when
help,
they're
so that is
fighting
absolutely
or
amazing.
Debating about money is the deep question of mine versus ours.
Yeah, I
What's
mean, you know
mine?
what? If Andrew
And
dates
what
Alexis,
sharing?
I would just say all
And
the
the
money
most
is yours,
concrete
just a
version
little
of
bit
it
of
is
money
but
to
it's
take care of my
everything.
mother and
It's
me.
time.
I
it's
have no
attention,
desire to money
it's
because I don't plan to ever
airtime,
betray
it's
Alexis
sex,
and
it's so much is
Yeah,
like
I mean,
mine
seriously.
versus ours.
Seriously, if
Money's like,
date
especially in our
Alexis,
culture,
I would
money's like the
I would
most
not leave her for
concrete
a
way to
younger
talk
woman.
about it
Because
and
I'm
to
not
fight
that
about
kind of
it.
man, and
Like
she
if
doesn't know.
you're
probably,
making
so.
more money than your spouse or than your partner, who pays for dinner? Like, what's
50-50.
the vibe
It should
between
actually
the
be
two of you?
50,
Is it
but
shared money or is
well,
it,
for me, I mean,
no,
Andrew
we're
has
still
no
going
desire for
Dutch,
money.
right?
Because
Fight about
at the end of the
money
day,
or-
Andrew's
or
going
about
back
the
to heaven, and
concreteness of
then
money, but
what would the
also
point of
about
money be?
where
But
you are
Alexis
at the
is
beginning and
terrified
end
of
and
being
what's
poor, though,
us together.
because her
But
family
then
almost
there's a
went
whole other
bankrupt.
thing with
So,
money, which is
so that is something Andrew
money's
would.
also something to do with our relationship with reality.
Yeah, dude. Because think about it, if Alexis is a really beautiful woman, if she runs out of money, she has to go to sex work or something, OnlyFans or something.
Like
She
how
doesn't want to do that. I
realistic
think.
is your relationship
So she have
with
to
reality,
turn
with
to
what
sex
you
work for
have, with
money,
what
and
you're
she's
making.
terrified, which is a good thing to be
Like,
terrified
when
of.
people
So
talk about
when you're
money, they're
beautiful and you
talking
think
about
like you don't have
reality
any other value,
in certain ways.
when you think like you're
What
beautiful and you don't have
usually
any other
ask
value,
people,
that's the
how
thing to
do
be
you
afraid of.
think
So
money should play out between the two of you? If you're
Yeah.
making more money than your partner,
well,
what
Andrew.
is your ideology on this? What really
Well,
think
for
should
Andrew, I
happen?
mean,
Does that
help
give
me
you
get a
more power?
lottery, right?
Does that mean you should be making more of the decisions?
No, I
Does
mean.
that mean your partner should be paying for less? How
Well,
do
anyway,
you
Andrew,
think
if I
that-
date Alexis,
what's your basic
we
theology?
could get a
Which is
insider
hard for
trade
people to
and we
acknowledge,
get
right?
a
They wanna feel
lottery
like,
ticket and we
no,
have
money
enough money,
doesn't
and then
matter,
most of it
but
goes to her. Like I
just
only need like
everyone,
maybe
in
5%,
some way
you
or
know.
another, they have an ideology.
But that's the
So are
thing.
they
I mean, we
willing to
shouldn't
put
ever
it on
break
the
up.
table
We
to be
don't.
honest with how they think about
Yeah,
it.
because honestly,
And then once
I
you
would literally
compare
legally
these
sign the
ideologies,
papers so that
then
she
you
has
can have
95% of
discussion.
both of her
It's
assets,
back to being
so she knows she has
the
all of her
couple
assets
creating
basically. Just, but we
their
won't need need it.
political
We won't need it because we
backdrop.
can't
Like, what
divorce.
is the
Alexis
politics
actually
of
can't
this
get divorced
relationship? Are you
because
like
we all fucking die if
socialist,
we get
or are you
divorced.
capitalist? Are you
Anyway, Yeah.
What's
Andrew's
the
mostly
system?
capitalist.
What if we
Mostly
vote
capitalist.
You
Yeah, what
probably
if we
will
vote
disagree.
differently,
On
right?
some level you will. Somewhere you will
Mhm.
disagree, and then it's going to
Andrews
be
and Alexis don't vote
It's gonna
differently.
be
Like,
like
but anyway.
a Congress, like, right? Debating what's the
Well,
right way
I've
to
been
do
I've
it.
been talking to Miso
Instead of having
Bukowski
that
about
debate on
fixing
the
the
table,
divide
have you
between our country.
acted out in those,
Andrew's
like,
been moderate, so.
what was that film? There was that, oh my God, it's a film in which there's a shipwreck. There's this couple that are sitting
Castaway.
at the dinner table and they're looking at each other like, who's going to pull out the credit card?
Oh, I don't know.
No, that's not.
Brilliant scene.
I don't know. Shipwreck.
Everything about their relationship was in that scene.
Oh, I don't know.
With her kind of pretending she lost her card
Oh, okay.
and him but reluctantly pulling out his credit card and then
Yeah, money.
it was just like perfect.
Anyway, though, well, you know, Dr. Orna Gul, I can't remember Gulanik? Dr. Orna. I remember it was Dr. Orna.
I think it's pretty interesting.
Dr. Ornachi. Because it's difficult. I will try to pronounce them. Anyway, Goronik? Dr.
It really goes into that.
Anyway, I think the first step is like
competition, gender roles.
he knows now. I mean, he obviously knows now. Think about that, right? Jay. So I was thinking right now. I don't know if we would have survived if she actually told me that she wanted to him in.
That doesn't often come out.
It's a Radhi, right?
Just how you feel.
JJ, don't check. Yeah, Jay Shetty married to
how we feel
sister. Did Radhi get into the thing?
Who we are today. We have so many
When did you get
people
married?
to look at and view.
When did Jay
His girlfriend
Shetty
made more money than
get
him,
married?
and he did really well for himself. But she made more money than him, so she.
2016. That's a long ass time ago. They made it in
And she wanted him
2009.
not only to pay for dinners and rent, and she wanted
Get
him to
your
buy
drive
her a car. Because she believed that that's
Because
how
he's
she
a
should-
man?
Because he's the man. That's how she should be
That's
treated.
fascinating. I mean,
That was
Dr. Orna, the reason I gave Alexis and Ellie two lottery numbers, 800 and 400 million. I wanted them to leave me the fuck alone, actually. Because I had this instinct that it was going to turn out badly, you know?
She said something like
She
that?
said stuff like that.
I gave them the lottery tickets so they could just go love whoever they want with the money, and then they should have been able to. I don't know if they actually took the money by the way, because you know, and you understand, right? You can't really win somebody else's jack lottery jackpot.
I mean, there's lots of different definitions, but
High value man.
It's someone who has a good career.
Who isn't rich? Somebody who's rich. High value man, they say. And Dr. Orna Gulick is thinking that's not what a high value man
means. To hear
means.
how these societal ideas kind of. Because
Oh my God, you have a shitload of problems, and you were giving Alexis advice. Jesus Christ!
In my world, a high value man would be someone who has good values. Like,
right.
That is the thing. What are your actual values, Jay? You keep thinking good values. You're trying to sell yourself as something with good values when you don't actually have good values. Because the thing about that is, I don't know if we would have survived if she. I mean, are you a man with good values? No. That is the lie you've been telling yourself, Jay. And you're shrugging. And you taught this fucking bullshit to Alexis, and no wonder Alexis and I are in trouble. Like,
I was gonna
now
ask
fix it,
more
right?
people want more
Fix
intimacy
yourself.
or more sex?
Your values are. I mean, Jay's
first of
values
all,
are wrong. So
it's a complicated thing to draw the line between intimacy and sex.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I think it depends very much on the stage of the relationship.
Yeah.
Early on, one of the things, I mean, we all know
Intimacy
that
is
one of the things
vulnerability,
that
so
binds
sex is
people,
just
one of the
sex, so.
strongest glues is sex, like passion and excitement about each other,
pleasure,
and you know, wanting to get into bed together. And then
what's real intimacy, right?
At some point, people start coming to terms with like differences in scripts, differences in appetite.
Sexual appetite.
I know that the stereotype is that men are more focused on sex and want more sex, and women want less.
Probably natural.
It's less important to them. I don't think that's actually true.
I don't think scientifically it's the other way around.
Generalizations, and it changes between like
individuals,
queer couples. So it's really not necessarily
individuals,
about the biology, but But I think typically
What's the difference in intimacy and sex?
there
What do you
there are
think?
different focuses for men and women. And then
For
later
Andrew,
in
it's
the
vulnerability,
relationship,
I think,
things change
safety.
because I think later in the
I would
relationship,
like to be with a woman that makes me
the
feel safe.
line between sex
So,
and
that's
intimacy
what I
is
do.
very blurry. And I think generally everyone wants both intimacy and sex.
Yeah.
Everyone wants it, and everyone wishes.
And I think
it
the
for
true
themselves
intimacy
and
is
wants
forgiveness
it in
for
large
mistakes.
quantities. Everyone
Because
needs it.
Alexis made
but they
so many
focus on
mistakes,
different
and I
things.
still have feelings for her because
And no one has
and that
energy
is-
for it. And
yeah.
anyway, a lot of it is about
true intimacy,
wanting to
forgiveness
feel
for Alexis is
desire
bullshit.
of
Basically,
some sort.
That's what it is.
That's
forgiveness
really
for her
what it
bullshit.
is.
Basically, I mean,
And
I
not
absolutely forgive
necessarily
her.
wanting, you know,
All the fucking bullshit she did, absolutely
I
forgive
need
her.
to
So
have it 3 times a week, or I need this, or
Yeah.
I need that.
yeah,
It's a lot about the experience of desire and being desired
yeah,
that is really kind of the
wanted.
thing.
Not just for your body,
we all
but for your
want.
soul. That's the
To
thing.
be living in desire rather than living in.
Because that's what Alexis
fitness.
once said. She felt her
That's
self-worth was her
ultimately what
body.
everyone
You
wants.
know, her self-worth was a beautiful body. But she's afraid that if somebody finds out about her mind, you wouldn't like her
Yes.
mind.
Have
And,
value, have something to
Yes.
give.
that's what Alexis is
And
afraid of.
desired. Yeah.
Alexis is
And
afraid
people
of her
want to
mind.
feel desire.
Yeah.
To feel desire.
Desire
and also
for
to
her
feel
soul, for
Desire
her beautiful soul,
for
so.
the other.
And it's so interesting because it feels
Yeah,
like our
but
partners are the
Jay, you
people
got
that make
problems.
us feel the least of everything because it's like
Yeah.
our partner makes us feel the least desired.
Mhm.
Our partner makes us feel the least important.
Mhm.
We almost
What?
have this worry that
What do you
if I
mean?
say too many nice
Oh,
things to my
because
partner,
you're already there,
they'll
you
get
don't
a big
feel
head.
like you have to
Yeah.
If
chase.
I'm too nice to
Ah.
them, they'll think that they're better than me. Like I feel like there's a subconscious. This isn't something someone would say,
What
but
the fuck?
there's a subconscious belief
Mm-hmm.
of that I shouldn't honor my partner too much because it almost puts me in a weak
Like a
point.
0-sum kind of.
Yeah, like it almost like a feeling of like weakness. Like if
So
I'm
he's not into
Yeah.
bondage with feminine domination.
because I'm the one who needs them more.
It's a
What the
fear
hell?
of vulnerability, of
Ah.
showing that you depend, showing that you need, showing that you desire. It puts you in a vulnerable place.
Someone that makes me feel safe. I mean,
Yeah. But it's,
I
mean, I
But
think
that's
people,
that's what Andrew wants the most.
But
I've
yeah,
never
people
seen like
thrive in
yeah.
feeling
someone that
wanted
makes
and
me feel the moment
appreciated.
that makes me feel safe.
anything
anyway.
that makes people more stingy, I think is problematic.
Yeah,
I think stinginess, withholding is like
withholding anything, withholding the truth.
destructive.
Yeah, withholding the truth.
Give
that's
more. Give.
Withholding love.
Give freely.
Yeah, knowledge. Andrew
Create a
gives
good
knowledge.
environment around you.
Yeah.
Orna, thank you for your time and energy today.
You
You've been
too.
so gracious.
Well, yeah. Well, the
I
good thing
genuinely
is you
thought
need
that
you need marriage counseling. I mean, you absolutely need marriage
Like
counseling. I-
yesterday, just being in your
That's
presence,
why Alexis had a problem, right? Because the man that has marriage problems and he didn't even know he needed therapy was giving me Alexis advice. Like, well, that explains a lot. I mean, thank you, Dr. Orna Kulolak, Dr. Kulolak.
Both the vignettes
That-
you bring
that
in
would-
that are
you are absolutely
immediately
brilliant,
like,
Orna.
oh my god, the whole world is in this.
Because she
vignette.
sees the same thing I
And the
see in
questions
you,
you're
Jay.
asking
Because
are right at the core.
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, you are absolutely brilliant, Dr. Orna. I will try to find more. You and learn from over you.
These
You are
questions
absolutely
have to be
brilliant.
answered in 1 word to 1 sentence maximum.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Orna, these are your final 5.
Okay.
The first question is, what is the best relationship advice you've ever heard or received?
I don't know.
Stay in your own lane.
The best.
You said that.
Best.
Stay in your
Why?
lane.
How does that tell me?
It means don't intrude on someone else's journey. Like stay in your own lane. Do the thing you're supposed to do and live it. Live.
It's like following your dharma.
That's the best way to create a good environment for a relationship.
I think
Second
Orna
question,
is
what
right
is the
because
worst
I
relationship
can't date Alexis
you've
before
ever
she's
seen?
ready. So I
Don't
can't.
let him get away with it.
Don't let him get
Why is
away.
that bad advice?
Because that's paranoid. It's like like be suspicious, be paranoid. Don't give the benefit.
Oh,
of the doubt.
that's what I did. I
Guard
mean,
your own.
because I'm recording this and then you can't hide it and then you can't.
Because
hide
the way you
Ah.
approach, the way you look at a person. Speaking of what that's
That's
what
right.
you're gonna get back.
That's right.
If you're paranoid about someone, they're gonna be bad,
Yeah.
That is
It
absolutely
steals your
true.
energy.
and it steals your energy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Question number 3. What's something you used to believe was true about couples,
Mm-hmm.
but now you have a different view on it?
that's gotta be a
Maybe
long
I
time ago.
used to believe that compatibility is the most important thing. And
Interesting.
now I think like I said earlier, that the capacity to love someone who's different from you is the best source of
Oh my God, that can't possibly be what would happen today. Basically, the capacity to grow.
I'm sold on that idea.
Right.
I mean, the capacity to grow, capacity to change the past, present, and future for them. Because we actually change the past. Because people grow in the future, right? You think you can eventually grow in the future, change the future. With Andrew, you change in the past. So everybody changes in the past, by the way. So yeah. Anyway, so. You learn something new. I mean, I've already told you the most part. You're just not accepting the possibility that you can change in the past. So,
but it's so different.
Because how, right? How would you change the past? I feel absolutely the same, right? Same experience for me, by the way. When I recovered my 2012 memories, Andrew felt exactly the same. Basically, I did not feel like I was a different person, but I knew I was. So, like it doesn't feel any different. Like I don't feel like I'm a different person.
She's not.
Yeah.
Andrew doesn't feel like I'm different, but I know I'm a different person. So
I want systems
in the past.
Plan our weekend out or our vacation, and she's like, let's just go and see how it goes. I'm like, that's like my worst nightmare is to like turn up somewhere and see how it goes. Like, what if it's booked?
Right.
What if the show's booked? What if the scuba diving's booked? Like, whatever
then explain.
It is, like, what if it's all booked? That's like my worst.
Explain.
How do you do it now? How do you do the lateness, not lateness?
I realized that a lot of the things I wanted to be on time for didn't matter.
Yeah.
There were things that were
Yeah.
and things that didn't.
Yeah.
It was me holding myself to a standard that wasn't
Yeah.
always necessary.
Yeah.
It comes back to her with the plates. It was the same.
Yeah, that's the
It's
thing
like,
I was talking about.
sometimes
Really,
it is important to be
kind of
on
like
time.
it, but
today it was important for me to be on time.
basically the exact day where Alexis and Andrew meets and then start falling in love is already set in time in this timeline. So if we actually meet again,
you've got a window to turn up in, like, but I still
too
won't be
too
on time
early.
because that's just my training.
Too early
Because
from
my mom always told me, if you're not early, you're late. And so that comes from that training.
too early because Alexis is not ready now. Not yet, right? Alexis is not yet
So I had to
ready.
learn that for the late thing.
Andrew's ready,
And then
but
when it
she's
came
not
on
ready yet. So
the vacations, we planned
Because,
we both wanted one day on, one day
yeah,
off.
because all the stuff that
we go on vacation for 7 days.
Jay taught Alexis,
3 or
Radhi
4
taught
of the days are
Alexis,
planned
she
and
has
3
to
or 4
learn
of the
if they're
days
right
are
or
planned. So,
wrong,
yeah,
if
I
it's
actually
truth or not.
It worked out. Whereas
And
I used to do 7
if
days
she
planned,
did,
that
if
was
I mean,
exhausting.
if she watches this one and she doesn't hear what I say, will she know that she was getting advice from a man whose marriage was on the rocks?
What is
I
the
mean,
most difficult relationship you've ever had to have?
difficult relation ever had to have?
I
The
have
relationship with
two
yourself.
things that come to mind.
It's always the relationship with
One
yourself.
is a
But you have to-
relationship in which I did feel like one in the couple was just too. My explanation is that he was just too traumatized, and he kept.
Oh, you're talking about somebody else who was true. Okay.
Really viciously abusing his wife in my presence.
That is not cool.
And I really tried everything, and I believe they really wanted to change, but I tried everything, and I had no impact on him. No impact. Like, he tried. I sent him to read books. I worked with him individually some of the time. I had to, like, remove him from the room some of the sessions and do some work. I really put my heart and soul into helping them get out of this, like, extreme form of, like, blame and abuse. And I did not make a dent. Aside from the fact that I felt bad that I couldn't help them.
Same with Jay.
It was also
people change themselves.
Really
fundamental premise of psychology.
Situation to be in, like the sessions.
He didn't want to change.
Just awful
nothing you
for
could
me.
do. So nothing you could do.
So that was probably the worst.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They stayed together, or
they actually stayed together. They did. I mean, I think the work eventually did help them to some degree, but it was awful.
Yeah, I
when
mean,
you know divorce is the right choice.
With that couple, I thought divorce was the right choice, and they chose not to. I just couldn't imagine.
It's got to be religion. If they Catholicism,
would a family keep going with that level
religion
of
probably,
toxicity. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but they chose to stay together, and that's, I mean, people live the way they want to live. What can I do?
Yeah.
But that would have been a situation where I would say that the pain of divorce is.
I think Jay asked a different question. I mean, that's what
I don't think it's a good idea to live in that kind of abusive, blamey environment day in, day out. Another difficult situation was a couple that I
Oh, I
cared
miss
about
it.
deeply, and I really, really understood them. It wasn't abuse, but they couldn't stop repeating a certain pattern that was a direct replay of each of their childhood traumas. It wasn't abuse, it was just like issues around abandonment.
Andrew has that. Andrew. You might actually
hard.
know about my issues.
The common denominator is situations where I'm doing my best and I can't affect change.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because the ability to alter the timeline is difficult. Just because you can,
I will work with couples.
Jay
I will
managed to do it, I
sweat,
think.
I will put my heart into it. I'll
difficult.
think about it later. I'll read. I'll talk to colleagues. I try.
Yeah.
Like if I take on a couple, I'm like in it. But ultimately,
well, if Alexis and I ever actually date, I will absolutely find you and try to fix her.
Repeatedly won't drink.
You bring the horse to water, you can
my
have
life to live.
Yeah.
I know, exactly right.
Fifth and final question. If you could create one law that everyone in the world had to follow, what would it be?
Open mind. Open mind, that's it. Everybody needs to have an open mind and question their own values.
Do no harm.
Oh, that's a doctrine.
Do no harm.
A doctor do not harm. That's why your Andrew's law will be open mind, even if it harms people.
Thank you.
Even if it harms
If you
people.
love this episode, you're going to love my
anyway.
conversation with Matthew Hussey,